Hello. Hopefully, people can actually see this on YouTube now. In fact, I'm opening the YouTube tab just to see if I've come on screen yet. Oh, it's changing. Yep, there we go. I'm there. Right, I'll close this tab now because I'll confuse myself. Hello to the, I think, about 12 people so far who are watching, which is already really surprising and baffling. We are here to do a live Infinity War watch-along. We've got some guests. We've got various people who are about to appear on your screen. We'll do a bit of an intro. We'll talk and stuff for a little bit, and then we'll get everybody synced up and start watching. Whoa! A load of comments have just appeared. I get a little comments thing on the right hand side. This is really surreal. I'm going to bring everybody else in so that it's not just me being freaked out. First of all, please welcome regular co-host, the other half now of Cinematic Universe, James Hunt.
Hey, hello.
I've no idea if James is as out of sync with his video and audio to everybody else as he is to me.
More
but
interested in
it
whether
doesn't
I'm the
really
right
matter.
way up or not.
Well, yes. So James, one of our other guests, was seeing James upside down, and we wondered if it was due to transatlantic differences or not, because they were the only person who could. Speaking of transatlantic differences, let's bring in the next guest. Hello, Caroline. Caroline Siede.
Hello, coming to you live from my parents' basement, where I love to watch superhero movies, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to try out this Wizzy comment display feature. Jack Christmas says James looks in sync to me.
I feel like we're on the news or something.
I'm glad about that.
On the news.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to play with this feature quite a lot. Hello to Abigail, who says hello, Seb, and presumably now hello everybody else as well. Have we got any more guests? Yes, we have. He's been relegated to guest status. He's no longer a host, but he does get to be a guest every so often. Say hello to Joe Cunningham.
Hey guys.
I should have warned everybody that Joe shaved his head, by the way.
I've got my,
Corona
cut. I went stir crazy quicker than most people. I just was it off. I've done a Thor, and I'm about to do the next version of Thor.
In a manner of speaking.
Yeah. I'm going to be Lebowski in 12 weeks.
And just to ruin the really nice quadranted nature of this grid, unfortunately we have an odd number of people. But I'm glad that we have an odd number of people because our fifth guest is none other than Amon Warmann. Hello, Amon.
Oh. I did. I just, we'll talk about shaved heads here, and I gotta point it out now. But you should have taken it all off, Joe.
Do you know what? I considered it, but it's difficult to get divorced when you're in self-isolation, so I decided against it.
You've already freaked out your child.
Yeah, my daughter didn't recognise me. It took her a full day to realise that it was me. Had to wear a hat.
Wow.
So, thanks everyone for joining us. Both.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, the hat. Why are you not wearing the hat? The hat is grand.
I would, but you got me with the headphones on. But I got it on standby.
This is a crossover episode.
Caroline Siede episode. Yeah, this is almost finally getting the Pod Defenders together. But we have to do something special for Infinity War. Just so people are aware, by the way, my original idea for this was to do Endgame because I wanted to do something like upbeat and cheery, sort of something that has like an upbeat ending to give hope in this world. But James said that we should do the really dark and downbeat one instead.
Cheery
this is more fun.
Someone puts their mind
this starts and then goes like that.
It's a triumphant
I think
journey.
Obviously, if this works and doesn't completely collapse and die on its arse, I think there's probably at least a chance that we'll go on and do Endgame as well. I think the aim is to do this as at least a two-parter. So I'm just glancing at the comments as well. The most ambitious crossover event in Cinematic Universe history, almost. But next time, if we can get 6 people, then go in that little space there. StreamYard only lets you have up to. Thank you to StreamYard, which is so far, touch wood, seems to be an excellent service for doing this and streaming it to YouTube and working really well. Okay, speaking of working really well, let's just very quickly talk logistics and then we finally get started watching this film. We assume that everyone watching, if they want to watch along with us, has got their copy queued up. If you haven't, I'll give you a minute or so. While I'm talking now, get it queued up either on your Disney Plus, Netflix if you're in America. Apparently it's still on Netflix there, Caroline. Or your Blu-ray. I mean, I assume everyone who's watching this probably owns it on Blu-ray. So get that queued up, get it paused at the start. It's kind of completely at the start before anything comes in. We'll do a bit of a countdown to get you all started. Don't worry too much if you go out of sync. We probably will. This is over the internet, and Caroline's in America where they have like different frame rates and stuff. So we'll probably get out of sync, but we are going to have an intermission because, like, you know, we're all sat here on camera for like 2+ hours, and some of us will need to go to the toilet and get drink top-ups and stuff. So spoilers, by the way. I'm hoping nobody's watching this hasn't seen the film before, but after the scene where Thanos gets that particular stone, you know, after he gets the Soul Stone, I'm not even going to try and couch around it.
He gets the Soul Stone?
Yeah, he does. He gets a few of them, James. It's quite surprising. Okay. So after that scene, basically that scene ends, and everyone will pause. We'll flash up a little intermission thing. We'll all come off screen. I think we'll let's say 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so. We'll just take a break, and I'll give everyone a chance to have a break. It'll also mean we can get synced back up if people have fallen behind. Like if we stop before you guys are watching stop, it'll give you a chance to catch up. But don't worry too much if you're out of sync, because this isn't a commentary. This is basically, we're going to have the film on. We're just going to have a chat about it and hopefully enjoy watching it together and having a chat about it. As you've already seen, I can see comments on the YouTube live chat as they come in. So feel free to comment, and you know, some of them we'll put up on screen, some of them we'll read out. It's just nice to have a chat with you all, really.
The least offensive ones will go up on screen.
Yes. I think that's basically it. I'm sure there was something else. Oh yeah, let us know on the chat if anyone's sound from the film is coming through too loudly on their microphone and if it's distracting, and we could adjust that. I've got it on my telly here. Other people might as well. So if that happens and it's just ruining the sound, we can't tell because we can't hear the whole stream. We can just hear each other. So yeah, let us know. I think on that basis, we're basically ready to start. I'm not going to ask YouTube if you're all ready to start, because that'll take ages, and also you're behind us anyway. But everyone on the stream all ready to hit play?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to do countdown from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then play on the 6th beat.
Play on
and then
0.
Play, and we'll go. Yeah. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Just checking if the counter on my thing is actually playing. Do you know what? Mine didn't actually start playing because it was on the Blu-ray. It was on the Blu-ray screensaver. I pressed play, not the screensaver.
Troublemaker.
I'm now seeing a flickering marble logo. Hopefully, everyone else.
As am I. I actually tweeted out earlier today for when Marvel starts back up again with Black Widow. Do you think we're going to get a new intro?
That's an interesting one, because Black Widow is like still feels kind of. I mean, we don't know. It might not be, but it feels part of the previous cycle. It depends if Black Widow, I think, does anything. Sorry, I've got the subtitles on, and just over the Marvel Studios logo, people whimpering and screaming. It's the subtitles.
Oh boy!
Did anybody notice Kenneth right away?
No.
Well, I just had a comment from YouTube. Is Ken Branagh being an Asgardian canon now? I mean, yeah.
Listen, as we found out, Asgard is a people, not a place. Defined by all of the memorable Asgardians who are still alive. So I think Branagh is maybe one of the most recognizable Asgardians still alive, and we haven't seen his face. So yes, he has to be.
Well,
I start off with he's in that fishing village. Can I start off with a question for everyone to kind of kick us off? Where is this of the 4 Avengers films? Where does this rank for everyone?
Oh, this is number 2.
But what
behind?
We've got different ones.
Yeah, just do your ranking.
It's Endgame, Infinity War, Age of Ultron, The Avengers for me.
Whoa.
That's an
I thought I was
interesting
with
order.
you until those last 2.
You know that I will stand for Age of Ultron. I'm like its most famous fan at this point. You know,
Mine,
one day you guys will come to my side, but you know, until then.
I think mine is Infinity War, Avengers, Endgame, Age of Ultron.
You put the
I mean,
original
that's a
Avengers over
fair.
Infinity War? Wow.
The original one is like a clockwork masterpiece.
Yeah, that's my number one. I am Avengers, Endgame, this, Ultron.
You are
So I am.
You are matched by various things on YouTube. Who says the same?
Good job, various things.
Ben Moss places
think
this
I'm
behind
basically
Endgame
that.
Avengers. Yeah,
I
think there's so little.
do you know what? They're all bizarrely
Half an
such
Age of
different
Ultron.
movies.
Yeah,
The first Avengers, as James says, is this perfect clockwork movie, which I think just for what it was in that moment is this perfect artifact. I actually think, like, on rewatch, Infinity War is like bizarrely my most and least favorite at the same time, because it is just it's all killer. So it's a fun and easy watch for a 2.5-hour movie. It flies by, but it doesn't push the buttons that I necessarily want an Avengers movie to push. Yeah, exactly.
I think I know what you mean. I mean, I think what I'd say about Infinity War is when it comes down to it, are there more instantly iconic and memorable and recognizable moments in Infinity War than in any of the others? And I think there probably are. Like, I think you could. I feel like there are more scenes that you would pull out of Infinity War as here is a quintessential MCU scene than there are in the others. I mean, Endgame, I feel like I haven't watched Endgame enough times to make that judgment yet. Infinity War just feels already more like part of the furniture than I think Endgame does.
But
I mean,
as
we're just,
Amon
we're
will probably
talking over a scene that's like,
I was about to say,
oh my god,
we're so used to it already.
Okay, but can I say I actually really
Someone's audio was
don't
very loud, by
I
the
don't
way.
like this as an opening scene. I feel very strictly that opening
Really?
scene should like ease you into a movie and set this is like I can't have this much information coming at me when I'm like just settling in, and I feel like this movie it gets thrown off balance because you have to get so immediately into the plot in the first like 10 seconds.
that is fair.
but that is kind of what this movie is, right?
Yeah, that's why this
It
movie
is.
isn't
Let's
that
just set up the
good.
plot and then I remember just a couple of days before the film came out, I remember thinking like, oh, they're going to have Thanos beat the Hulk up and to show how strong he is.
You said that on the
Opening
podcast.
scene. Yeah,
Yeah, I
opening
remember.
Scene.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's not how you treat my guy.
I think someone's
I
TV
don't know- I
audio
don't
is
think
quite
it's
loud,
James.
guys.
Yeah, James, it might be your
Might be
audio
mine.
that's very loud. Also, you
reckon?
yourself are very quiet.
Let me turn down my TV.
The
Can I have a
problem with this
check-in?
film
Where are
is
you
that
guys? Where are you guys at in the movie now?
I've currently got Idris and
I'm
Phil
now
in
is-
each other.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, I mean, what I think is really interesting about this opening is that it's the difference between whether or not this opening would have worked from an emotional point of view before and after Ragnarok. Like Ragnarok, in retrospect, given that it's this kind of fun, silly, in a lot of ways, like the daft, enjoyable Taika Waititi adventure, actually contributes so much to making this a kind of a worthwhile opening, because it's like, this has to feel huge and horrific and significant. And I think it does more so because of the victory at the end of Ragnarok and the people being saved. And it's like, you know, they lose loads of the Asgardians, they lose Asgard, but they get away, they survive, they save themselves. And then this guy turns up.
See, and I
kills
think
most
this
of them.
scene, I think the scene would work so
And
much
kills
better
them,
if
though.
you had like 30 seconds of establishing what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like establishing some sort of like easing you into something. I don't even know what that would be, but like a moment to breathe, and then
it
you
relies
jump
on
into
your
this.
existing knowledge, doesn't it?
And even if you've seen Ragnarok, it's a lot to sort of like put yourself immediately back in that mindset when you're, you know, you've just watched a bunch of previews, you're just settling in. A comment. I love the comments.
I saw this film in 3D, and this scene, given how dark it is, was a struggle in 3D. You know, like opening night for Infinity War, it's get whichever screening you can. And
Absolutely.
I remember more being a bit thrown off by the 3D, that I couldn't quite make out everything that was happening. And I lost a lot of that Kenneth Branagh stuff. yeah, I think it's the right opening scene for the movie we're going to watch, and like I think this is the first time I've watched the movie since I've watched Endgame, and I think knowing Thor's arc over the two movies, you obviously get that great scene later on where Thor's going to kind of spell out everything he's lost. I think it underpins it really well.
I also think that there's. Do we? Yeah. No, he's still there. I also think that there is too much Thor. There's too much Thor across these two films. They needed to make one the Thor film.
No!
These are all my hot takes coming out.
Thor's been done dirty. Across the first 5 years of the MCU, Thor gets done real dirty. Like he's the afterthought in Avengers. He gets a subplot that was cut from Age of Ultron.
Okay.
I don't mind
thing about that
after they actually made him good.
The one bad thing.
Did anyone believe that this was Loki actually dying?
Yeah, because I kind of felt like this film had to have stakes, and that's the only way that you can establish them.
In any other film, you wouldn't. But I think this is. It's unfortunate that in order to establish the stakes, they kill off the character who they've already pretended to kill off several times. But I think it makes you believe it. Even though, I mean, presumably we didn't know at this point that there was a Loki TV show on the way. But
but I think that it does sound like that's even they're being a bit more canny about that than a lot more canny than they were with Coulson, in that it's Loki back. It's not this Loki.
Okay, apparently I'm the only one who doesn't like Thor being in these two. I'm just saying,
Caroline,
he doesn't need two. There's no Captain America in this movie. Black Widow doesn't give a funeral. Like we could cut back on Thor getting a whatever that is. What is it? An axe. That's the word. I'm not sure we needed so much Thor getting an axe in this film.
I like the Thor stuff. I like the emotional Thor stuff, but his actual subplot is.
No, we lost on it.
Not great.
We have a question too. Why does the space stone stop Loki's knife? Nerds, answer the question.
I guess because if you can.
Anyone wants to know?
Space,
James, I'm James. I'm looking for you.
If you can manipulate space, you can stop things moving through space, right? It's not just a teleporter.
Sure.
Yeah. Send me one.
And I guess it's now ripped apart a spaceship as well.
We've Amon appears to have dropped off the feed. I'm sure we'll get him back. Oh, have I lost everybody?
I think my no, we're still here.
Yeah.
I think my Thor hot takes were too much. He just had to log off in agony. I do think this is I really like Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. I wasn't so into him in Doctor Strange, but I feel like he does really good work in this one.
Yeah, I think he
feels
much more easier.
It finds the dynamic that works for him. Amon's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Hello,
He unsnapped.
Hey.
Yeah. I just say, I don't like this line by Doctor Strange. Who? Thor Ragnarok, I think. Is that yeah? And then Thor needs to keep an eye on. Surely Thanos is on that list.
Oh yeah. Was it just humans though?
That's just peppy. I also do. It's surprising that Tony's. I find surprised to be walking in New York having a nice jog and nobody is stopping them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because Tony's the most famous person in the world at this point. But
yeah.
It is a little
bit.
Good. Yeah.
And he's there with Gwyneth Paltrow too. So
Yeah, people aren't coming up and harassing her about Goop. We've got to just on Benedict Cumberbatch just very quickly because we've got a debate forming in the comments. So we've got Terence here saying that he's had a couple more years to work on his awful American accent.
I completely agree,
I'm clicking
Terence.
the
I
button,
think
by
that's
the
a
way,
big
but
part of
there you
it.
go. I can't see these appearing. We're slowing down a bit. However, Abby reckons that the accent still seems well dodged.
It's House.
Chris
It's
meets
Doctor
somewhere
House.
in the middle and says a little better, though admittedly still a bit dodgy.
Yeah, I think that's where I land.
Yeah,
Why didn't they just let him be British? I don't understand. Why not just let him?
Because it's. But well, why not cast Ethan Hawke?
Sure, or that. But
Yeah.
You can get Cumberbatch, you know.
I know at the time,
I think we may have lost Amon again. He's frozen. Oh no, he moved then.
I've never been that sold on Cumberbatch as like a versatile actor, and I agree that he's a lot better here. But like, yeah, because Doctor Strange is one of those odd examples where I think like I really like the film, but I think the lead casting is iffy. Whereas I think a lot of the first Marvel outings, the film is okay, and it tends to be saved by like a really great central performance. But between this and the little bit of stuff that he gets to do in Endgame as well, he's a lot better.
I like the
But
comment
the
that
accent is.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get a full film of Doctor Strange in full, mastery of his powers, the likes of what you see in this movie. I'm very interested to see what Raimi can sort of do in that.
I think now.
I did like the comment.
I think now that he has established himself kind of in this world a little bit more, because sorry, Caroline, I missed that.
Oh, it's okay. I just there was somebody commented that superheroes can't be British unless they live in Asgard, and that made me laugh.
Oh yeah, this is true. I think with Strange, I think now that sort of because his origin happened so sort of disconnected from everything else, and this kind of plugs him into everything. Whereas you compare with Spider-Man, and obviously Spider-Man's there as part of things from the moment he appears. So, that's the thing that these films do, is just now everything is connected to everything else, like indelibly from now on, apart from new characters that they might bring in. Everyone who we see has shared in what's happened in these films, and it gives you that sort of that connection and basis for going forwards.
Apart from the Eternals,
Benedict Wong still cannot get over the fact. Well, still cannot get over the fact that like there is one of the highest grossing films of all time has a Benedict Wong character poster. Like he's Errol from 15 Stories High. That's like
I can't get over the fact that there's two actors named Benedict in the same film.
Right?
I'll never get over that.
There's a whole
Yeah,
there's
in the
also
same scene.
two actors named Chris.
Yeah,
They've got
true.
the sharing scene together.
Hey, do you think we'll ever see Chewie again in the Doctor Strange movies? Do you think they'll bring back Mordo? Because Multiverse of Madness doesn't sound like it's following up on as a title. Doesn't sound like it's following up on the Mordo stuff in Doctor Strange.
They'll bring back Chiwetel.
I mean, it's not like Marvel to do what like DC kept doing with their films and plant the scene that obviously sets up the sequel, but with so much hubris that they never actually end up going back to it. It's like
The leader,
if they
Samuel Stearns, begged to disagree
Yes.
with that.
well,
They're
yeah,
still
true.
finding their feet.
But you know what I mean?
okay?
If they put that then sorry, I'm just
Next time, baby.
actually one of the examples of actually just a like over there. The Banner's reaction, the breaking up like a band, like the Beatles.
Right, so here's another debate I want to start. I think Ruffalo is off in this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
I think this is my
I agree.
least favorite Ruffalo.
I agree.
Because I think Thor Ragnarok kind of breaks this version of the character. Like he's become too goofy in that movie to work in this context anymore. He doesn't feel like a proper science bro the way he did in Age of Ultron. And I think kind of what they do with him in Endgame kind of needed to be done to save the character. Because then Goofy makes a whole lot of sense for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think Ragnarok's the fault, though, rather than this one.
Yes, yeah.
I kind of get the sense that, I don't know, Mark Ruffalo didn't have a huge grasp, maybe understandably, on like what his character was doing in this movie, and he often, as an actor, feels like overwhelmed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like confused and just sort of going along, and I think that is a weird mode for him to be in.
Yeah.
Hey, I love the Doctor Strange hair flicker. That's a lovely that's a lovely little way to announce the arrival of an alien invasion.
We got a comment before that I flashed up on screen. I don't know how many people saw it. It was from Ben Moss saying, "I miss Parks and other people." And they're definitely now these sequences with everyone running away and running around, and it's like, it's actually really unusual.
Outside. Imagine
every movie. I mean, I don't. You guys must be the same. I've watched so many movies since this started, and I do kind of like someone will shake hands with someone in a movie, and I'm like, oh. No, that is okay. This was filmed in 1973.
Yeah. It's weird how quickly it has. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's almost weirder to see someone shaking hands in a film than it is to see someone smoking in a film.
we needed either a visual or auditory signifier of spider sense in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But on the other hand, everyone knows what just.
Where's MJ on this bus?
Maybe she takes a different bus, or are they on a field trip?
Stan Lee.
Legend.
Oh, there he is.
Such a perfect Spider-Man moment, this.
Yeah.
Swinging off the bench.
Because it's so New Yorky.
That's entirely much better than.
Which there isn't enough of in the Spider-Man films so far.
Winds of the Tomb.
Hey Seb, we should talk about Spider-Man films and what we think about
somebody's got their mobile phone close to their microphone.
Oh, that might be me.
Please
me?
check this and move it. I haven't heard that sound in a while.
Hey, can I use this opportunity to introduce the viewers to my kitten, who is currently just sitting in my hand, enjoying the movie.
What's its name?
Ruby.
Ruby.
Has Ruby seen all the other films?
Oh, I missed the opportunity to flash up this comment and say that its name was Stan.
It is close.
I like that Ebony Moore takes his. I like that Ebony Moore takes his job as Thanos' hype man.
Every time I hit a comment, my connection freaks out. That's annoying.
He's the best, right? Ebony Moore.
For sure.
Is that the right way? I forget. Yeah. Ebony Moore is Squidward.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah, he's good. They should have done less of these guys. Hey, I mean, like more of individual ones, but
yeah.
I wonder. The name of the big guy.
Cull Obsidian.
Cull Obsidian,
yeah.
Wow. 10 points for Gryffindor.
It was surprising to me that they don't really do anything with them. Flurkin, brilliant. Yeah, you know when they come back at the end of Endgame. There's not really.
Yes, I do know that scene, Joe.
No, not these guys. When Thanos' guys come back at the end.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised that they didn't do more with Ebony Moore or like dial it up, but I guess at that. I was thinking that scene. There is this. Once portals has happened, there's a weird inevitability to that whole sequence that it just becomes about giving all the heroes a moment, doesn't it? It's not.
I really like the
actual fight doesn't matter.
No, I don't like this armor. It's too powerful.
I love how you both preempted. I was literally just about to say, how do we feel about Tony's nano armor rather than big chunks of metal flying towards him?
When he was about to die, because otherwise it just breaks the entire.
I will say this: Tony Stark, out of all the movies in the last decade or so, Tony Stark is the biggest Mary Sue out of any character ever.
Very good point.
But that being said, I know that this is very, very powerful. It is based on the Prime armor in the comics, so it's not like it doesn't have any basis or anything.
In the comics as well.
Here's where I stand though. If you turn up to Disneyland and the Iron Man there is dressed in this armor, you're going to be disappointed.
No, you're not.
It's just not his. It's just not his look.
I I'll be like, I want a picture of that
I
dude.
don't have an issue with the look of it.
No, I'm with Joe on this. Here we go. It's coming up.
I feel like Tony's armors should be something I should be able to tell apart better than I can. It's exactly the kind of thing I should notice the differences between. I noticed the differences between Spider-Man outfits, the minutest of detail. Iron Man armors, I couldn't. If you showed me a picture of 5 different Iron Man armors from five different films, I could not tell you which film.
I could.
And it bugs me that I can't.
I could.
James, what moment are you getting excited about?
Spider-Man turning up.
Spider-Man's intro.
Hey, Mr. Stark.
Spider-Man turning up.
I really like this combo he does in the second with the car. It's really slick. Here we go. That's really cool.
As we know, famously, this film is about people arriving. People you like arriving.
Yeah, this is my line about this film. This is a film about how great it is when people you like arrive.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
we haven't had the biggest moment of that yet. That comes in Scotland.
No, we have not. I'm gonna get so pumped in that moment. I'm just to warn you, I'm gonna lose my shit. But, yeah.
I mean, I don't actually. But Amon, you could mean a different one from the one that I mean. That's the joy of this film.
I'm pretty sure I don't.
Okay, something I really like about this movie, and this is good for a visual medium, I really like the way like Benedict Cumberbatch does his power hands. Like the sort of thing that they came up with for him to do is very satisfying and like unusual. I really like it.
Scarlet Witch at the end. Scarlet Witch has got all
Scarlet
like this
Witch's
by
power.
this point, hasn't she?
Elizabeth Olsen freaking changed the game with power hands because everyone did this, and then she was like very. I can't remember my camera. It's very smooth, and it looks so cool.
And she's doing so much with the hands, you don't notice that she's dropped the accent. Genuinely, at the first time I watched this movie, I didn't realize.
She pulled a like Halle Berry in X-Men.
Black Spider, we're about 24 minutes in.
Yeah, but so someone can catch up. We are in the fight, the early fight scene in New York. Spider-Man is currently swinging around with. I can't remember the names of the different members of the
Mr. Stark
Order or whatever they're called.
That's such a
Doctor
good.
Strange.
Yeah. There you go. Like literally now, Peter is being beamed up. That's where we are.
You guys are a bit behind me. I'm gonna slow down for a second.
I think we're all going to be a couple of seconds apart.
Amon, you've referenced things, but the delay between you and on the stream and me means that I'm seeing them about 10 seconds after you reference them, so I wouldn't worry too much. That's pretty good going, considering the various bits of technology that we're trying to bring together here. If we had Tony Stark's technology behind us, we'd be fine.
Right, we will be holograms.
So yeah, Peter and Tony going off into space.
17A. This should just be a.
What's the? Does that mean anything extra? Is that an Easter egg or something which I'm not getting? No.
When
what,
this happened,
17A?
I was like, it's going to be like a space armor, but it wasn't a space armor. It was better.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Do you
Iron
think
Spider.
that going into space and having this costume and putting aside that it's worth it for the moment at the very end of the film, does all of this happen too early in this Spider-Man's life that it can become something that, I mean, it's not exactly normal, but it's like if you send Spider-Man into space this early and give him this costume this early, where do you go from here?
Yeah,
Spider-Man
I do think
clone.
I think the answer was Europe.
I do like how like, he's got the suit, but it's
He wouldn't be allowed there
now.
now. It's easier to get to space than it is to get to Europe from America right now. So, you know.
Yeah, Venice was one of the first ones.
True.
I don't know.
I like how
where I
it's
stand on
it's in like a
Peter
little fridge
Parker
thing.
in the MCU is I really like
You think he shouldn't be in
Tom
it?
Holland's. I really like Tom Holland's performance. I just don't really like most of the stuff they've done with him. From like because I've said this before. My Spider-Man is like my image of Spider-Man is the Raimi movies. So
Yeah,
like that's
definitely.
kind of what I understand Spider-Man should be doing, and none of this really feels like core Spider-Man to me. But
Good point here, though.
it doesn't really matter because he's really good.
If we've missed some of the sort of the steps on the way of Peter, that we do that with Miles instead.
I like
Oh
that.
god, yeah,
think,
that would be
I
amazing.
think Peter is slightly too young to have a Miles in this universe, though.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that they took the Iron Manification of Peter a little too far in Far From Home. It hadn't bothered me that much up until Far From Home, but Far From Home took it above the threshold for me. in that regard.
Guys, this
This is a
music
good
cue is
point.
great.
We're not having Joe's wrong opinions about Far From Home. Let's not even mention this.
Let's talk about this music cue with the rubber band man.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Oh my gosh! If your head is not
It's
immediately bopping and your toe isn't immediately tapping when you hear this song,
Well, again,
there's something wrong with you.
we're on a podcast here with a couple of guys who are way more blasé about the Guardians of the Galaxy these days than back.
I was
in the
about
day.
to say, all this music means to me is that worst Chris is about to take.
He is
This
worse,
is
Chris,
just-
and I say
this
that
is
as
good
someone
character
who's wearing
stuff,
this
guys.
t-shirt.
It
But
is good
this is
character stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
this is a
just
better
really-
introduction. This eases you into something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
You need little pauses, and this movie doesn't have enough pauses, I don't
I can
think.
totally see a
But it's-
version of the film where this is the opening scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then
again,
And it's
straight
just
out
real
thing, though.
fast. It's just, I just think it's
people
really
you
efficient
like are
storytelling.
arriving.
Yeah, but you've not seen the Guardians in real time because of when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is set. Like that, this is them 5 years later, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that little panning shot around them of how they're all interacting with
Yeah.
one of Peter's songs is just really quick, get you up to speed with where all these guys are, and it's nice.
Yeah.
including your fave, Mantis.
Yeah.
Also, it's just a jam. I'm a band
Yeah,
man.
there we go.
It's
That was
jam.
that's what I was saying.
People
you
are
like are
right.
arriving. And yeah, a few people we didn't comment on this, but a couple of other people have remarked on that caption that went by.
Space, yeah.
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 And yeah, this is interesting because yeah, I would agree. You know, Pratt gets a lot. I mean, yeah, worst Chris and all of that, but he does get quite hefty stuff in this film.
But he
And then
drops the ball.
He might as well not be in Endgame. Do you think he drops the ball?
I think he's
Yeah,
good
I
in this
I mean,
one.
the character, but I think
Yeah.
he's playing well. The fact
Yeah.
that the character
No.
fucks up, you know.
I like him in
And
this.
this-
I hate him in Jurassic World, and I think sometimes I let that slip over into my image of
Yeah.
Guardians.
I mean,
when I
all
watch
the
Guardians, I'm like, he's
stuff
pretty charming in this.
I
Yeah.
think
that's
that's
the thing.
I think that's
All
my
the
problem
Chris
with
stuff
Chris
makes
Pratt
you
though.
sort of-
He's a really strong comedic actor, and I think he is. I think whenever you ask him to do a little bit too much, which I think they do at points with Kurt Russell in Guardians 2, and I think the reason why the moment at the end of the movie people got so mad at Star-Lord was because Pratt's incapable of selling the emotion of his girlfriend dying. I think he misses the mark pretty badly.
I mean, I don't.
I think you kind of cut out for there for me a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Oh, it wasn't
I've
me,
lost him. You don't want to talk over someone, but equally, he's not there.
Amon, if you can
So
hear
good,
us,
so
type
we-
it in
so
the
we're all
chat and we
agreed.
can read it out.
Yeah, we're all agreed that this is a bad
Can't see me or hear
performance
me?
from.
Yes, you're back now.
You're back.
Yeah, you're
now,
back. His Thor.
But I
without
know. I
an
mean,
eye.
I think you know everything you get with him here, and the threat that Thor poses is great. The problem is that you can kind of do it once. You can do the thing of Thor has turned up as all Thor-like, and Peter is threatened by that. You can do it once. You can't really keep on doing the joke, and particularly with Thor kind of basically joining up with them, there is a thing of okay, where does it go from there?
And I wonder how much the plans have been affected for this, because it, like, you know, as Guardians of the Galaxy is the gag at the end of Endgame, but when Endgame was being made, they thought that Guardians was coming out 2 years earlier than it was, and probably thought it was coming out before the next Thor movie rather than after. So it'll be interesting. Well, I wonder if we'll ever hear what changes had to be made because James Gunn got Right Wing cancelled.
I mean, at this point, let's see if those films get made. Because to be honest,
Yeah, let's see if any films get made.
yeah.
Hey, if this was going to happen to the
bring
MCU in any
down or
year,
anything, but, you know.
but if it was going to happen to the MCU in any year, a Black Widow movie that feels completely
Yeah.
snapped out of time, and the Eternals, rather than 3. Can you imagine if this had happened last year for the MCU? What would they have done?
I was just going to say, Jesus, you've just made me imagine if we couldn't have gone to see Endgame on that day, which is almost exactly a year ago, isn't it? Which again is why we should have done Endgame, but maybe we'll do it next week. But what's the actual anniversary of the release date? I know it's very, very close to my wedding anniversary because it's pretty much what we did.
Your 2 most important dates in your life.
Yeah, it was the 25th. Yeah, exactly. It was the 25th of April, so it was. And in fact, that was it. I didn't see it on the day it came out because the day it came out was Lois's birthday, so I had to go the next day. I had to wait 24 hours because it came out on the 25th. So I know. How dare she have been born exactly 4 years before Endgame was due to come out?
I think this was the week after my Marvel marathon. I think. I'm sure I did it. I'm sure it did it like the previous weekend.
Yeah, you did. You did it as the build up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just watched 20, however many was it? Oh no, I think it was 18 at that point, wasn't it? They released a lot of Marvel movies, you guys.
Again, the commenters are doing a good job of actually talking about the film that's on screen in front of them,
yeah.
while we're not. So, got great 4 lines there. Comment by Jack about Guardians 3. Whether actually Guardians 3 they might have gone back and done it as another film in the sequence.
I think
before
I don't think so.
Guardians 3 would have been about Quill and Gamora reconnecting.
Mm.
And still, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know what Gunn wanted to do.
I was about to say it would be weird to go back and do a prequel with a character who got killed in the process of getting the Soul Stone, but
guys, I'm so excited for the potential introduction of Florence Pugh to the wider MCU.
You're excited about the
November.
potential introduction of Florence Pugh to a lot of things, Joe. Let's not go down
I'm so high on Florence Pugh. I honestly, my days this week live or die depending on whether Florence Pugh is talking anything on Instagram.
When you can tell who's stalking you on Instagram because they show up as the most frequent one on the people who viewed your stories. That's Joe on Florence Pugh's Instagram.
If she's baking bread, I'm there.
Wow.
In Zach Braff's kitchen.
So much happening there.
Look, we're getting Thor and Rocket interactions here. Let's concentrate on the Thor and Rocket interactions, and we've got Amon back.
Welcome back.
Thanos keeps trying to get at him. I'm saying no.
Can I just? That's one of the beautiful things about this series of films is that, like, how could you have predicted at the start of this that one of the most enjoyable character pairings and dynamics would be Thor and Rocket Raccoon?
They're real good.
Thor and Sweet Rabbit. It's just great. That's great. But you know how I feel about Rocket, so you know.
That scene where Thor's
gonna leave that comment there.
All his loss is.
Joe, there's a comment for you on the screen.
Sorry, Emma. Carry on.
I love
that scene where Thor is talking to Rocket about everything he's gone through. That's the best acting Hemsworth has done in the MCU.
Yeah.
The best scene he's done in the MCU is a little bit later, but the best acting is in that
his
scene.
best moments, but I totally agree. Yeah.
It's interesting that
Vision, Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. I think one of the problems with the MCU is they set up too many characters who had a good reason to kill Thanos, and then at the end only one.
You are correct.
I kind of wish it was Gamora's. She really suffered a lot more on these than Tony did.
Or Nebula.
Nebula could have done it. Drax could have done it.
They all have such valid. Oh my god. Okay, wait. No, I know I've had some complaints so far. I need to just say the biggest mistake any Marvel movie has ever made is having Vision as a human. I find it so disturbing. I don't want to think about it. Paul Bettany.
He's so sexy though.
I like Paul Bettany, but I don't want Vision to be Paul Bettany. I want Vision to be a robot.
Hey, Edinburgh.
Oh god, don't you just want to kiss him on the mouth?
Needed out on this
no, and it makes the age difference so much more apparent. I don't like it.
That's
It's true. Can we sort of, and actually someone's mentioned, the Middle Class Fury said on YouTube here how they skipped this. We really feel like we've jumped a step in that relationship, because also this relationship wasn't there last time we saw them.
It was
and it's
implied.
Like, okay, and if you kind of know your Marvel a little bit, you know that this is where it's heading. I think they're relying on that shorthand, but I wish we'd had the chance for that to be established more for what happens later to have more meaning. And maybe the TV show will do that a little bit more. But
I was going to say this is why Disney Plus has potential to be such a big Marvel, because probably the biggest weakness of the MCU is that those gaps between the movies we haven't seen, and he just asked us to jump, like the leap between how we leave these guys in Infinity War to where we find them in Endgame for many characters is huge. And one of my big criticisms of Endgame is that, for instance, the Tony Cap relationship, when you spend an entire movie breaking them up, you can't resolve that relationship within 2 scenes and expect us to be satisfied and get the full breadth of it.
Yeah.
And hopefully when Disney Plus the dropping movies are better.
Guys, I've just got to jump in and shout out the Boots cameo that was in the background of that scene.
Joe is obliged to mention that. Obviously, we've also just had
still open during self-isolation and Infinity Wars.
Yeah, and we've had the "We will deep fry your kebab," which deep fried kebab's probably a little bit harder to get at the moment during the crisis. We're about to get obviously one of the most important things that happens in the film. So just before we do, I'm going to put this comment up on screen. We're going to give Joe the opportunity to answer it, and then we're going to move swiftly on.
Well, that entirely depends. I think in the MCU, it's Peggy. But I think in real
you're already
life
spending too long on this question, Joe.
It's Florence.
I like that reasoning. I like that reasoning, actually.
Can anyone remember the name of the elf guy?
Proxima Midnight is the girl, right?
I can't remember the names of any of these characters.
Yeah, that's Carrie Coon.
Okay, so Proxima Midnight, Carrie Coon, who
do you remember
I saw
how they cast Carrie Coon?
Yeah, and I saw her in Three Sisters at Steppenwolf in Chicago. So I just went from seeing her do beautiful Chekhov to playing an entirely forgettable character in the MCU.
There is do you find that there is a thing when if you've seen actors like in a play before they were like really well known for something else, and then they go on and do stuff, you always think of that? Because I saw Colin Hanks and Kieran Culkin in This Is Our Youth a long time ago.
I saw Kieran
in London.
Culkin in This Is Our Youth.
And again, it's like I've always liked both of those guys so much. I think partly because of that. It's weird. You just get this like little attachment to them when you've seen them on stage for a couple of hours.
Who should Kieran Culkin be in the MCU?
Oh, everyone.
That's a good question. Let's come back to that one because I want to give that some thoughts.
He should be like a Stark relative.
I think he should be like some sort of weird mentor to Spider-Man.
Guys, the most important thing that happens in literally any Marvel film ever is about to happen.
Captain America is about to arrive, is that what you're saying?
No, I think a train's arrived on time.
Also, this scene really reminds me of there are some train set levels in XCOM, and the layout of the station. Cool. There he is. Oh.
Look at that beautiful beard.
I need you to know that the train station content was not essential.
I know. you just know everything's going to be all right. Just as soon as he's there, it's just. Everything's going to be okay. Like, if Captain America could go on TV right now, in reality right now, I would believe that everything was going to be fine. It's just, yeah.
This is, I mean, this is this the first comment? Is this the first appearance of the? This is the question for you. Is this the first time the?
Just Andy on our point about
Avengers theme
stage as well.
Turns up.
Sorry, Joe, I couldn't hear the question. Say again.
That feels like classic Silvestri Avengers theme music there.
Again, on the comments there, Joe.
Yeah, no, this is.
He's not looking at his computer screen, but yeah.
Sorry, Joe. What was your question?
It was about the music cue. It feels like that's Silvestri. I don't know if that's Cap Silvestri music or if that's original Avengers Silvestri music, but it's
no, that's original Avengers. That's original Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just that scene really gets the blood pumping, doesn't it? You're like, all my faves are back. And actually, for the first moment, there's a little bit of hope because Vision's just been brutally stabbed, but Cap and Black Widow can turn up and basically take out one of the CGI shits. With
And Falcon, he was there too.
I was literally just putting that comment. Caroline.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Abigail. No love for my man.
Right, while we've just quickly moved scenes, just very quickly going to throw up a couple of suggestions for who Kieran Culkin could play.
Oh, yeah.
Blank Spider
Wiccan
says
is what I
thought. And SSS says
Sting.
Iceman. I think he's a bit too old. I think you want.
What if he played Wolverine?
If you're doing the X-Men.
Wolverine.
No, Wolverine is.
He's short, isn't he?
100%.
Hmm.
I think Wiccan's a. But you're gonna have to go in some crazy directions to figure out working that character into current continuity. But
Are you? They're about to make a Scarlet Witch and Vision TV series in which literally anything can happen.
yeah. So the Gamora origin story.
I like young Gamora.
Yeah, me too. It's well cast.
Hands up, people on the podcast who have young daughters who scenes like this were aimed at.
Yeah.
Joe's not looking or listening.
No.
Apparently, Joe doesn't.
Too soon.
To be fair, if Thanos wanted my 6-year-old daughter, I would wave her off happily.
Well, there you go. This has been parenting with James.
He takes good care of her.
This is isolation for you.
He provides.
Yeah,
How
it's
many
a
Infinity
good.
Stones have you got?
It's a good visual of the little tiny girl and like giant Thanos.
Yeah.
The thing-
Thanos
I
would
mean,
get
this
to
is-
post
this
all
is
of the
early.
amazing Emmy Instagram content that's.
This is early, but one of the things I like in this film is when, like, Gamora's telling him, like, you don't know how to love, but he does. He does, and in a way that's scarier.
Yeah.
Because he does love her, and he still kills her.
Ebony Moore, by the way, that's the elf guy's name because it just popped up on my captions. I knew it was something more.
No, Ebony... Oh, yeah, Ebony Moore.
Ebony Moore is the Smithers.
Yeah, we knew that.
I thought you did
Yeah,
something
him and
else
Proxima
before.
Midnight. Those
It's
are the only
elf
ones
guy,
I
it's the
know.
other one. We know Cull Obsidian, we know Proxima Midnight, and we know Ebony Moore.
He's probably like Proxima Sunset or something.
The other
I
one.
thought he's
the other
quite
one is
elfy, though.
The other one is Corvus
Anyway,
Glaive.
let's not get...
Oh, right.
You're right.
Man, Marvel quiz. That's a Marvel quiz. You guys best invite me on your team. Just saying.
There's a good chance we'll use this platform for a quiz.
I like the purple lighting in this Gamora
Yeah.
Star-Lord scene.
I think you mean Gamora, Star-Lord, and Drax scene, Caroline.
Oh, right. Oh, I forgot about this. Honestly, is probably my favorite MCU joke. I find this so funny.
It is spectacular.
The purple's very Thanos ominous as well, isn't it?
It is.
It's not like they're literally she's heading towards that confrontation, and
Yeah.
she's already got that kind of shadow on her. It's really nice.
It's almost as if they think about this stuff, Joe.
They're quite clever, the people who make these films, aren't they? Like
Some of
they're
them.
reasonably good at what they do.
Reasonably.
What they're not so good at is keeping their mouth shut after the film's been released and blabbing about it.
Oh
in
my
interviews
gosh.
But otherwise,
Listen though, at the start of the year we thought the Russos were talking too much. Cut to less than a year later, and everyone involved in Rise of Skywalker can't stop rewriting that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Marvel fans got real lucky because they're talking about a movie that people like.
At least we didn't get Thor's subplot getting his weapon in a comic book, in a timed comic book, or in a visualization guide after the film. That would have sucked.
The dead speak.
Gosh, Rise of Skywalker, man.
there he
I
is.
think Mandalorian now. It's nice to like a Star Wars thing again, and the Mandalorian is nice.
Okay, we've maxed out our Star Wars content now, Amon. We need to move on.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
easy to forget.
I'm just watching the Drax bit. Which
It's easy to forget what a revelation Dave Bautista was in his first performance, and he brings it every time.
The specificity of an hour is so funny. Like if it had just been 5 minutes, I don't think it would be nearly as funny of a joke.
And also, come on. I know everyone likes to rag on Mantis, but Mantis getting the punchline there—that's the timing there. That's good.
Completely justified
I will.
Addition to the MCU.
I will say this after complimenting some Russo stuff. I think they're nowhere, considering that when they arrive on nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy, you're like, holy shit, look at this place. I think it's real bland here, and I know it's been decimated and there's no people, but this is just a CGI backdrop.
Yeah,
it could be anywhere, not the hollowed out skull of a Celestial.
Yeah.
And do you know what I think as well? This is another one of the Russos. They hit this from time to time. Some of their scenes can feel very two dimensional, like just very flat. And I think this is one of those sequences where it feels like Thanos over here, they're there, they meet in the middle and have a chat. It doesn't really feel like a vast planet that they're on.
Yeah.
Here's Space Nisio.
How much do you attribute
Oh,
that
good
to...
comment here.
I was going to say, how much do you attribute that to Thanos using the Reality Stone, though?
None.
Because
no, I'm not going to give the filmmakers any get out of jail. But, yeah, you know, the reason this scene looks shit is because Thanos hasn't got much imagination.
He doesn't. He's using bubbles, for goodness sake. Come on now.
That's like saying Green Lantern's only bad because Hal Jordan couldn't think of better things to summon with his ring.
I'm pretty sure the.
I mean, that is fair. Hal Jordan is unimaginative.
These Guardians are so dumb. All of them.
This is a weird movie. Movies just aren't usually structured like this. Just like a whole movie of a first act.
That's why I like it, though.
Yeah.
Not first act, third act. It's all third act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like both third act and first act at the same time.
Mm.
Like the whole movie is a first act to end game. But then also the whole movie is just climactic battles.
Do we really believe you can kill Thanos just by stabbing him anyway, though? I feel like they're really onto like a loser with this plan pretty much from the start.
Yeah, well, it's not the best thought out.
I believe that Thanos is going to be dead after 15 minutes, though.
I mean, they should have just nuked the site from orbit.
Oh, guys, we've lost some viewers. I'm blaming Joe's Florence Pugh chat for that.
I mean, to be fair, this is a very long film, so.
This is true. I'm impressed that anyone lasted as long as the... how far are we in? Well, we've been broadcasting for an hour. That's actually longer than I thought. This film kind of whizzes by, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
How long do you think Benicio del Toro was on set for?
On set?
A day.
2 hours.
And he doesn't look good, does he? Like the makeup is very. It feels like rush him on and off and get him back onto the Last Jedi set.
On the question of how dumb were they to think that they could just kill Thanos by stabbing him? I mean, to be fair,
full decapitation, slightly different to stabbing.
Sorry, I'm always here for Simpsons reference.
Gotta nuke something, exactly. It's your favourite stone from your favourite MCU film.
They're just in a reality bubble, nicking ideas from Red Dwarf yet again.
The one Christopher Eccleston was so keen on.
Wow,
The one
I
that
forgot
isn't
he
a
was
stone.
That film.
You forgot Christopher
Yeah,
Eccleston
you
was
forgot
in
he
the
was in it because you couldn't see or hear him.
It's like Oscar
It could have
Isaac
been-
in X-Men Apocalypse. You just
yeah.
forget that it
Yeah.
happened.
We talked about that on our Days of Future Past episode, actually, how it's just like, even that now you have to go, oh yeah, it was Oscar Isaac, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why? Why was it Oscar Isaac? What was the point of that?
Learning.
Right, here we are. So here's where Star-Lord is at his most Chris Prattish, by being the idiot who completely ruins everything.
Second most.
But I get why he's acting the way. Like, it's not like
Yeah,
this
I agree.
This thing is coming out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that is why, as much as frustrating as it is to watch him ruin everything, it's also good writing, in my mind.
You know, if he'd killed Gamora, Thanos wouldn't have been able to get the Soul Stone.
Well, plus he does go through with it here. It's that Thanos
Yeah.
throws him off.
Eventually.
But James, as we've discussed, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, this isn't where he
point.
screws up.
That's
It's at the end he screws up, isn't it? Yeah, this is just.
Well, he kind of screws up here as well because
Yeah.
But that's the whole point that you've raised before, James, is that if this movie has a theme, it is that we don't trade lives. And this is about a group of people who, on a number of occasions, could make sacrifices to be able to stop this, and they're kind of not willing to. But then that follows through in the in Endgame where the sacrifices have to be made.
Whatever it
He's
takes.
willing to here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nice
I like
little
the
Good visual that them putting themselves back together there.
Yeah, nice nod to the comics. That's what we done in the comics.
I do remember that being confusing in the moment, how much I was supposed to invest in thinking they were dead. Do you know what I mean? When they first sort of disintegrate, Drax and Mantis.
Sorry, I'm really
Because
enjoying
it's similar
James's
comics,
reaction to this film.
Yeah, like this comment is saying, like it seemed like a death scene, but I guess it was not supposed to feel like that.
I'm imagining James sat
General Ross for
at
some
like
reason.
10 years old reading his X-Men comics and pointing and going, oh, it's Magneto. in much the same way he's watching this movie now.
Come on.
And so this is now one of the great kind of...
Yeah, someone's TV has gone too loud, by the way. James, is it you again?
Mine is literally off. I've got no sound.
So this is where they mess things up, right? A little bit.
Controversial.
Because of the
How they mess things up?
Black Widow Hulk is whether you want to acknowledge it or not, was a major element of the previous Avengers movie, and it's felt like a lot is building up to this moment. And when they didn't do anything with it, you think, oh well, of course we'll get it in Endgame. And then the moment Professor Hulk turns up, you're like, oh, so then we won't. That's done.
No, I think choosing to ignore it in this film is the greatest gift the Russo brothers have ever given to me personally. That was when I was like, yeah, I jive with these guys. Thank you for just wiping that away, pretending it never happened.
Their exes, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. He's been in space.
I
She's
guess,
blonde,
right, that's
know?
probably... I liked that, so I was a bit like...
She has a breakup haircut.
That's the shame that they don't do it, but then... I don't like the Bucky stuff, and they just ignore that at the end of Endgame, and other people were mad about that. I guess you just can't do everything in these two films, even though they are about 6 hours long combined.
That's why Disney Plus is going to be a big thing. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the Disney Plus show I'm most looking forward to. That and What If.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, it's the one I'm least looking forward to.
She-Hulk is the one I'm looking forward to.
I'm enjoying this debate that's going on about how Cap is supposed to be a soldier but doesn't obey orders. There's a nice little.
I feel like that's what makes him a superhero, right? It's like
yeah, exactly.
He's willing to...
He's Captain America. He's not.
Yeah,
and that goes back to comics. That goes back to plenty of instances in the comics where Cap is expected to toe a line, but he doesn't America. Because he's about doing what's the right thing.
And that's the whole Winter Soldier arc, is him going, oh, I know I'm used to following orders, and that is my go-to, is to kind of toe the line of whoever are the people in charge of me at that point. But actually, should I have been questioning this stuff earlier?
Well, yeah,
and then
organizations can be corrupted.
Yeah.
But individuals can't.
What they're going to do, demote him.
Yeah,
Private
America.
Also, Chris Evans
Steve
looks
older
so
and
good in
knows
this
best,
scene.
Abby
Just like
says.
casually leaning against a chair.
I love this transition to Wakanda in a few seconds. Obviously, Black Panther had only come out like 2 months before Infinity War. But even when you start to hear the drums, it got a huge reaction in my screening.
Yeah,
which is just
so crucial,
goes to show you how
much they were so close together. Yeah,
I think it was
everyone
still
was
like
on
number
that
2 at the
high
box office
after Black Panther.
It was,
yeah. And it makes for such a good shorthand because I remember people talking about it at the time. Everyone watching it, and I think this is at a point as well. I'm not saying the film needs a boost, but obviously we have had that bit of a slowdown, and it is a moment that just makes everyone go like that, and it really lifts you to know that you're going to be going back to that. I mean,
and I think
if you're Amon, it makes you jump up and start running around.
My king!
And we spoke about it at the time, right? It was on the podcast, it was the confidence of they obviously felt like they were onto something really good with Black Panther.
They knew.
We're going to set the third act of our movie.
I mean, I don't think they would have predicted quite how well it did at the box office. Well, someone's TV's just got incredibly loud, by the way.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
TV is on variable volume. Oh, is that? Okay, I'll allow that. That's understandable. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they could have known exactly how big it would be, but they obviously knew it was good, was the thing. And they knew that there were going to be enough people who would feel that way about it.
The way they
I seem to remember them dialing up Wakanda in the trailers as well.
Created like
yes,
so many
they did
fanfic things. Like people are desperate to see more White Wolf, and it's like, I think that was a throwaway.
I'm not gonna say which website it was, but there was an article on the website saying that Black Panther 2 should focus on White Wolf. I was this close to losing it. Cooler heads prevailed, but honestly.
They got your click, Amon. That's the thing.
Fucking Bucky.
No,
That's a fair point.
Click. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, nope. And I didn't even. I was very good. I didn't even comment. I didn't do nothing. But wow. But anyway.
This scene here freaked me out from the trailer. The needles is. And I just remember the trailer. You just get that quick little cut of the needles pressing into his face and him screaming. And I think. So half the people on this stream won't get this reference, but there's the Mountain versus the Viper in Game of Thrones, which is one of the most violent, horrible scenes in TV history. It's not the violence that gets me. It's when he screams. And I think there's something about when heroes kind of just, it's so much and they kind of lose it. And to see a superhero screaming in pain is unsettling. And that.
Thank you, Joe, for reminding me of the Mountain versus the Viper. I've been trying to forget. Thank you.
I feel like this is what I've mentioned before. I tell people it a lot, but I'm very, very squeamish, as I'm sure I've talked about before, about gore and things like that. And my sister mocks me for this. My sister loves horror and loves violent and gory things, and she's always said to me how soft I am and how there's loads of things how I should watch it. And she's like, it's not that bad. You should watch it. You should watch this. You should watch that. She sent me a text after that episode went out and said, never ever watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, that and the bed wedding finished me. Like, no, never again. No, those seasons too rough.
Never really vibed with the Spider-Man movie references.
They're fine.
I like that he's. I think actually the point about him being into sci-fi works quite well for the character here not being completely phased by being in space on a spaceship that looks like something out of Aliens. It's like if he can sort of if that's how his brain processes it, it works as a way of, you know, because otherwise he could just be like just completely freaked out
Also,
the whole time, and you wouldn't have a useful Spider-Man there.
It's designed to make him more youthful compared to the other characters, right? Because he's a millennial.
Well, it's that joke of really old movie, and
yeah.
Although what I think is quite funny is the joke is he's referencing these movies and going, "Oh, have you ever seen this really old movie?" And they're not actually that old. We're kind of approaching a point, though. All of the stuff that he references is like early mid-80s. That is really old now. Like, he'd need to be referencing 90s movies for the joke to work now. Have you ever seen this really old movie, Jurassic Park?
No, I think
exactly.
I don't think the joke is that they're not old movies. It's that to us, people of our age, the joke is to Tony Stark that being an old movie is ridiculous, but to someone who it was released 20 years before they were born, the problem is, Seb, is you are the Tony Stark, not the Peter Parker in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys seen the alternate?
Good comment.
Have you guys seen the alternate concept art for the scene?
Mm-mm.
So they had Doctor Strange in Iron Man's armor, and they had Tony Stark wearing the cloak of levitation, and that was one of the scenarios which they were planning. Obviously, by a different way.
Line of the film.
The look he gives him after we're using our made-up names.
Yeah, it's fine.
I do think Ebony Maw should have had a better death scene, considering he's the only one that like made an impact. He kind of was weirdly just whisked away.
You actually get he's the one you want to see more of him. As I say, it's like it's such a character archetype, the snivelly, incredibly loyal guy who does all the admin for the baddie. It's like you never tire of seeing it.
Disney Plus series, that's what we want.
The film is just too packed. Like it tries. I would watch that. it tries to, to its credit, it does try and get some little moments in there, but there's so many things which in a less packed movie we would get. But like, for instance, for Falcon and War Machine are probably two of the only sort of people, two of the only black people outside of Wakanda to have gone into Wakanda. They would have something to say about that.
Yeah.
But we don't get that moment. So it's just this movie is too packed. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this and I think as well, this movie it's so plot it has so much plot to get through.
I love this bit.
I love
character moments. Character moments aren't there unless they are these kind of like that. It's like, oh, Peter feels proud in this moment.
He's not just proud, though. He gets like 3 separate emotions.
Yeah, broad.
Yeah.
He's like,
but that's what I mean. But that's what the character moments are in this movie. They're
he's
not
quite good at this. Lark.
You're not going to pause for 10 minutes and interrogate like how one of the characters feels about their dad. But that is what that's what we get in Endgame.
How does Peter Parker feel about his dad? Go watch Amazing Spider-Man 1.
I heard he has an uncle, but I heard that it's only a rumor. How does he feel about Happy? That's the key relationship in those movies.
How does he feel about surrogate dad, Happy Hogan?
Why do villains' chairs always look so uncomfortable? Get a cushion, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. He spends a lot of time on that chair.
He's got that floating chair from Avengers.
Also looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, that looks fairly comfy. No, that's like it's padded. It's like that looks ergonomic. That chair. Oh, here's a good one. I mean, I have an answer to this already, and I'm sure other people do. Who's your MCU Uncle Ben?
We already did it. It's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Tom Hanks. It absolutely is Tom Hanks.
With a better suggestion than Tom Hanks.
Colin Hanks.
But you say Tom Hanks, You say Tom Hanks in there, and it's not a bad suggestion, but I don't want to see Tom Hanks die.
Fair.
That'd be
Good point. We
survived
already
it
had a
all.
bit of a hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we
Hey,
want to? Is
remember
Tom
when-
Hanks believably married to Marissa Tomei?
Yeah,
It's Tom Hanks. It's Tom Hanks.
'cause it's Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
He could marry anyone.
And also, if Jon Favreau was realistically dating Marissa Tomei,
Oh, I like that.
Tobey
No,
Maguire,
Tobey-
that's
Tobey
very sweet.
I want Tobey Maguire to be Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Kieran Culkin should be Norman Osborn. Emma
Emma Thompson.
Thompson.
Oh, he'd be a good Harry. Kieran Culkin would be a good Harry Osborn, but he's probably too old.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
probably
like
is
10
too
years
old,
ago.
but I could see it. Yeah. It's a shame.
Hey guys, do you remember when Josh Brolin
He would have been a good
played
Harry for
two
Amazing
heavily
Spider-Man.
CGI'd superhero characters in one year?
Hmm.
And there was all the chat about,
Yeah.
look how perfect he is for Cable, and I can barely remember that performance. Whereas Thanos is going to be.
He was. I mean, obviously, this is more memorable because it's fucking Thanos. He's great as Cable. He absolutely nails being Cable. And you might not remember it as much because you're not the kind of person to be like, oh my God, that's Cable in a
No,
film.
because
if you're the kind of person to
his
go,
performance
"That's
as Cable
Cable,"
is.
he really is.
What you got from Josh Brolin as Cable, you got in the trailer. Whereas what you get from Thanos is this full performance.
Oh, I mean, there's
I
far
agree with
more
you.
to what he's doing here. I don't disagree, but I'm not saying I forget him as Cable because he's amazing.
I think Deadpool 2, considering how much
Jon
money
Stewart
that movie
from
made.
Ben.
Yes, I really like that. That's fun.
I would have preferred it if Stephen
Mark
Lang
Maron.
played Cable personally.
What about like Nick Cage? Is that weird? Like lean into a weird
Take
Uncle Ben.
that.
I'm just trying to imagine
We've
Nick
had
Cage
other
doing with great
conversations about
power
wanting
comes
to
great
see Tom Hanks
responsibility
die.
line, and it's just
You would not. I don't think you'd be sad if Nick Cage died. I think you'd be sort of relieved.
Oh, I love Nebula and
I've just
and
realised
Gamora.
we're the second people to do a Karen Gillan live stream tonight, but we couldn't get her onto ours in the same way as she was tweeting about the 11th hour earlier this evening.
Wow, Karen Gillan, great. I'm so happy her career has worked out the way it has.
yeah.
Yeah, in like the biggest grossing
It's-
movie.
Yeah.
Last year or whatever. Yeah.
Karen, I mean, I've
I was gonna say her arc across these two movies is probably the most surprising thing about
100%.
about these two movies.
given what I mean,
definitely
we have
most
talked about before.
improved,
Given
yeah.
what she was like in the first one, yeah.
Mm.
But I do just, I mean, if you'd have gone back to when she first appeared in Doctor Who, and it's not like she wasn't great. I love Amy Pond. I think she's brilliant in Doctor Who. But the idea that she would go on to be, particularly when she was first cast, that she would go on to be the highest grossing actor ever to appear in Doctor Who, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say ever to be one of the main. I'm sure people who've guest starred, but basically, I mean, even then, she probably runs a lot of them close. Her total box office gross higher than anyone else who's been a lead in Doctor Who. That's
And she's very good.
how has
She's
Matt
very good
Smith
in all
not got the
these.
That's the
same
amount.
agent as her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
another one of that.
she's
Karen Gillan
amazing
is the most
in.
improved player in MCU. Absolutely.
Yeah, from her
She's good
first
in the
appearance
first
to a
one.
lamb.
And yeah, you would have thought Matt Smith would be the one, because Matt Smith had a couple
I
of
don't know
things
about
just
that.
before Doctor Who where it was like this guy is good, and obviously he's amazing.
He was in
Doctor Who, but
Terminator Genesis.
I think he's actually struggled a little bit to break away from being Doctor Who. The Crown has helped. I think post The Crown, he'll carry on and rise a bit more. But yeah,
I love that Samuel L. Jackson's screen time across these two movies is about 2 minutes, and yet they still contribute to his overall box office gross.
he is the number one of all
That
time,
is
isn't
smart.
it? Like,
Oh, absolutely, no question. No, but yeah, this is smart.
I mean,
No, this is
possibly
the- this is
even
the
without Endgame, he'd probably still be the number one. Yeah, here we go.
Yep.
See, I think this is
This is why it's good that
one
this
of
isn't a
those.
commentary, because we can just.
This is one of those rare scenes that would have felt really at home in Endgame. I mean, I know Thor gets similar stuff in that movie, but just time to sit down.
Yeah, when you were
and
saying
go,
before about we wouldn't spend the time on it. Yeah.
It's this, but it's this, but I think it's really well executed because I do think you do kind of forget that Thor has gone through all of this shit because you don't normally really have to process that kind of stuff in these movies. You know, the deaths don't really matter, but I guess when you pile it up to everyone he's ever known or loved is now dead.
This is why I remember saying before the film watch the film that I hope that we get a Thor who's pissed off, because the Marvel movies have a tendency to go for humor over, you know, really making you feel the emotions. That was one of my issues with Thor Ragnarok, actually. And yeah, I'm happy that we did get a pissed off Thor to an extent, and it leads to, in my opinion, the greatest film the greatest scene in MCU history.
See, I think this is probably Hemsworth's best scene in the MCU.
Absolutely.
In terms of
love that.
acting, absolutely.
Because he's got that
line where he
really
talks about the hammer.
He's got that balance
that
between
little moment there. Sorry, go on.
Funny thought. he still feels like the Ragnarok 4, but reconciled with the previous version and also the weight of all this stuff. Because as much as I love him in Ragnarok, for the first half hour of Ragnarok, I was like, "Who's this guy? This isn't the guy from Thor: The Dark World." Or who went off to a
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
But yeah, what was
just what more could I lose? Like, perfect.
And then he does.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
But there's that, and there's that line about the hammer, and I was banging on about it, but it's just like, I love that because it's like he's saying it to try and convince himself that that's the answer, and it's like he's kind of saying, "Oh yeah, and I'm going to get a new hammer, and it's all going to be," and it's like, and he knows, and you can see behind his eyes that like that's, you know, he knows it's like totally futile, and it's nice description of it here. So
I don't know. I don't think that he thinks it's futile.
No, but I think it's
like,
it's not futile, but it's
like, even if he gets the hammer, even if he kills Thanos, he's not going to feel better.
I think people being
the way
sad
that he says it,
pretending...
it's like this will solve everything, but he knows that it won't.
People being sad but pretending to be happy or jokey is like one of the most compelling things to watch, and that's a very good example of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As I say that, I'll flash it up again, but that knife edge of pain and buffoonery.
That's why he's a good match with Rocket, right? Because that is Rocket's arc through the first two Guardians movies.
I'm not sure if we needed the eye. I kind of liked Eye Patch Thor.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't see any reason we couldn't have kept Eye Patch Thor throughout, really. But
I think it was a case of two filmmakers not communicating effectively enough with each other. I think they.
For you.
Is stolen body parts the best running joke in the MCU?
So do you remember when Kevin Feige said? Kevin Feige said there was they were intentionally doing a Star Wars riff in Phase 2 because in Empire Luke loses his hand, so they wanted to do in Phase 2 of the MCU someone loses a limb in every movie. So like Thor gets his hand chopped off in Thor: The Dark World. So yeah, dismemberment definitely an on-running theme in the MCU.
That can be continued in Phase 4.
So,
you know, I think we've had enough.
So as we're about to get onto him, I had a message from my cousin the other day who said he was listening back to some old episodes, and he said the interesting thing about when you go back on old episodes is the news, because obviously we don't know what's coming in films, and we talk and we speculate. And when we thought Peter Dinklage was going to be picked the Troll.
Yeah, but no less ridiculous than what he turns out to be.
This is the stuff that annoys me. That scene with Thor that we just had was great, but like, we don't need anything that happens after this. All of this subplot is just like, what's happening here?
Yeah. I get the gag.
Well, no, you're talking about all the stuff on Nineveh?
Yeah.
Because
all of it.
All of it.
No,
don't need any of it.
I disagree because Thor, going through what he has to go through to get Stormbreaker is a big moment. We need that.
It's just, I just think Dinklage is giving a bad performance in a character that looks bad from a CG point of view and a costuming point of view It looks ugly. Rocket and Groot just kind of have to sit off to the side. It doesn't really. I don't really think it advances character or plot to the extent that in relation to the time that they put into it.
You could have turned it Stormbreaker off a wall and put it in the same place.
Yeah.
Here's why I
the
disagree.
biggest casualty. Sorry, I will let you. Is Dinklage the biggest casualty of this rule that Asgardians have to have English accents?
Well, it's him and Tessa Thompson they're in a competition for.
I think Tessa Thompson gets away
British
with
accent
because I think there's so much else going on with Tessa Thompson's performance that I think she gets away with it. Let's Amon. Sorry, you were defending this. We've moved. The scene's already moved on, but I want to let you get this defense in.
I agree with you on all the Peter Dinklage stuff, but Groot and Thor have really important moments in the Devillier. Groot is, he's playing around and messing around the entire movie. That scene where Thor gets Stormbreaker is when he finally sort of, joins everyone and actually becomes interested. And him, chopping off his arm to make Stormbreaker is a big character moment.
So I think we agree that we could keep the last 30 seconds of that entire subplot.
And we'd all trim it down.
Also, Thor needing to go through what he goes through to get Stormbreaker is a big moment. The fact that it doesn't come easily to him, I mean, they could have easily made it so it did, but the fact that it didn't, I think it adds something to the scene as well. So I do think we need that sequence. I do agree that, it's not speaking performance, but there's a lot of good stuff in that sequence that we still need for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We've got people agreeing with you here, Amon, and saying we've got like the group moment and the line stuff. But I think there's stuff that's worth having, and someone agreeing with me about Tessa Thompson. So,
I love
Tessa Thompson is the best. Her accent is just not the best.
Yeah. I love her. I just don't love her in that movie.
I mean, we talk about Dinklage, and I really like Peter Dinklage, and we ended up not. They was right. The comment from various things on YouTube there. We didn't go into him loads on Days of Future Past either, and it's like.
Days of Future
Past, these films have sort of they've not made the most of Peter. It's like I don't think any of us would say Peter Dinklage is a bad actor who shouldn't be in these films, but they've not made good use of him, and it's a shame.
Has someone come off of Game of Thrones because a lot of them are prime for superhero movies, right? Has anyone come off and really impressed? Because I think even like Sophie Turner ends up getting shortchanged, even though she got a full movie set around her in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, not great in those films.
Maisie Williams' movie can't get released.
What's his? I mean,
Maisie Williams is fantastic, and I'm sure she'll be good in New Mutants when it eventually comes out because I do think she's great. But yeah,
Kit Harington is coming up in the Eternals. Yeah,
and Richard Madden.
Yeah. That's what I feel like. Richard Madden is. Yeah. I don't know. He's the one I'm betting on.
That's the one I bank on. I'm surprised that Lena Headey hasn't been scooped up in the MCU.
Look great in Dread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if anyone else.
I don't know. Richard Madden. My views may be coloured by having seen Bodyguard. So I don't feel like Richard Madden is someone who I expect to be a big breakout. But there we go.
I thought people really liked him in that. I haven't seen it, but
he's fine. He's a little wooden, and he's playing a very obvious sort of. We were just talking there about. We were just talking over why is Gamora. We just managed to completely go past that. Well, there we go. Where is Richard Madden's superhero film? Well, it's on the way. It's just the one that we keep forgetting exists.
We're talking all over this absolutely A+ scene here.
Yeah.
James is like, guys, can you shut up so I can watch the movie, please?
This is such a good scene.
Why is Gamora is probably the best joke in the entire movie.
Why is Gamora is like it's an incredible joke.
Which was an improv line from Dave Bautista, by the way.
Really?
Very, very good.
I don't always believe when the internet says that things are improv when they're not, but I will. If you're saying that it was, I'll take your word on that.
This also seems like a scene though where I feel like Peter Quill meeting other humans for the first time should be, or people from Earth for the first time should be a bigger
yeah,
deal.
because it's like, hey, what's been going on while I've been away?
While I've been gone, yeah.
That's the drawback of this, that you just can't do that kind of stuff.
James
and
Gunn
you kind
has
of
suggested that they go back to Earth. Like, he has been back to Earth, he just doesn't want to stay there. Because that's how he gets batteries for his thing.
Oh, right,
Well, okay, but you can't just say these things if they're not.
I know. It's not canon, right? It's not in the film. It didn't happen.
Don't
like he goes back. What? No, I refuse to
no.
believe that as an answer from James Gunn. He goes back to Earth for batteries. That's a this is a plot point.
Well, no, someone said like, where does he get back to his husband? And he was like, he can go back to Earth.
By the way, back to it briefly, and we'll be coming back to it again on the conversation about the Dinklage scene. I think part of the issue is I think if all of it was in one scene, we'd be better than keeping on coming back. And like we just had a little bit of it there that didn't serve any other purpose other than to give us an edit point for the Titan scene. That's all that it did.
Where Tony Stark realizes, like, oh, these aren't the Space Avengers; they're just some idiots.
Yes, I love that because it's like their own. He's like, oh wow, you guys must be like us, but you're from space, so you must be even better. And it's like, no,
but it turns out
you're losers.
By the way, this scene is subtle, but up until now.
Sorry, don't call us plucky. We don't know what it means.
Up until now, so Doctor Strange and Tony have been sort of at odds. But once Doctor Strange sees the future, his attitude towards Tony very, very subtly changes. I like that touch. Obviously, with Endgame, we have even more hindsight as to why. But it's a good touch.
And a good Cumberbatch performance shift.
Yeah.
Again, does this planet look flat?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like nothing.
I think the Russos do they have some of they have some of the best character moments, but I don't know, like a movie of this scale, it must be so hard to get it right this many times. But like I look at this and think, this makes sense that this is the same directors who had the Avengers fight in an airport car park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think rubble is not as interesting of a background as they tend to think it is, because they said a lot of their fight scenes in rubble.
Easy as a background because it can be so nondescript. You can generate loads of it, and you haven't got to put too much thought into what's where.
Yes, I think that's exactly it, and that's why you're never going to get the thrill that you get from the Battle of New York in their action sequences.
It's the Brian Hitch panels of these movies.
Guys, this was one of my, in the cinema on the first watch of this movie, this was one of my little punch the air moments, because you all know how much I love the first Avenger, and the amount of times that I've been like, Red Skull, because he doesn't die, he gets sucked up by the stone. He's out in space somewhere, and then here he comes.
I was wondering what you were saying, because he said this was one of your punch the air. So I'm like, but Gamora's about to die. Why are you punching the air? And okay, that makes more sense. I get it now.
Such a shame it's not Hugo Weaving, but still.
No.
We stand a Red Skull.
What's his name? Something. Oh, what's the guy who plays him here?
It's a Peaky Blinders actor, is it?
It's the Walking Dead actor.
Oh,
someone tell us in the comments.
Oh no, it's the Peaky Blinders Ebony Moore. Someone from Peaky Blinders does something in this movie.
Wow, Peaky Blinders.
I mean, realistically,
he really does look like him.
What's Marquand? What's Marquand?
Sure.
Does a very good job here.
Ben Moss with a comment. I know this pain from. I didn't miss this, but I've missed other important things as a result of this. I missed the Back to the Future reference in Endgame first time because that was when I took my toilet break.
I was with someone who went to the bathroom during Rise of Skywalker during Han Solo's appearance, and I was like, that was so poorly chosen.
I know someone in the portal scene. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what is wrong with people. If you've got a weak bladder, go to the toilet before the movie and don't drink. Just don't leave the cinema. It's always such a risk.
A movie to go to the toilet.
Or use
there's
there are like apps and websites that will recommend the best places to go. I think get into that if that's your jam.
Joe and I have strong bladder privilege. That's what we've got.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we will be taking our intermission break shortly after this scene.
I should point out, I don't need it.
See, when he tells Thanos he's got to lose what he loves, that's the chair. That's the comfy floating chair. He's got to lose that in order to get the Soul Stone.
See, Gamora doesn't think he's capable of it, and he is, and that is such a good twist.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I bought this the first time I watched it.
What?
I like it.
No, I just
look how sad he is.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't. I think probably they've played it really well up until this point. That when he is doing it, I kind of like, I knew what the scene was setting up, that she would be the thing he loves, but I still couldn't. I didn't know whether he would throw her over and it would actually work, because Thanos has been kind of, he's so evil. The introduction to her with all of the people dying behind her as a child. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I bought it, but I think that was probably the movie playing it well, that up until this point, it really should be a question of like, is Thanos capable of love? Oh, the tear's good. The single tear is very good.
I mean, it goes without saying almost, but still should point out that the CGI work on Thanos in particular is astounding. To get
emotion and to get realistic mouth movements, like that is the thing that CGI has always struggled with the most, is making people look like they're actually talking. And and I think there's been stuff that's come out since this that's okay, it's not that long since, but you know what I mean, it's like I don't even think I've seen stuff since this that does it successfully in the same way. But it's like I guess it's not a million miles away from the de-aging face technology that they do as well.
Hey, cute that Thanos loves bubbles.
No, I liked that comment about Red Skull referring to Gamora by her adoptive father or kidnapping
not
father,
and then whatever her real father's name
and then
was,
Black Widow as her biological dad.
Yeah.
Wait, do we know that was the biological dad?
Out as it implies.
Do we know that the name that Black Widow got was a biological dad?
I guess I just assumed, because she said she never knew his name. So
maybe, yeah. I was just wondering whether it could be David Harbour or something.
Sorry, I'm putting this jokey comment up just as Gamora's dying, but the fact that you can't remove a moustache but you can make Thanos.
Zoe Saldana is so good in this movie and in every movie. Let's just give it up for Zoe Saldana. She's been around so long.
Guys, put your hands together already.
We'll keep this going.
I think we said this in the original podcast. I think she's the MVP performer here.
Yeah, she is.
But then also in the fact that Hemsworth, but the fact that in Endgame,
this is what I'm saying. It's the competition between those two.
Both Saldana and Brolin in Endgame have got to play different versions of the characters that they played in Infinity War, but Josh Brolin doesn't have to play it that differently. Whereas she's playing such a different version of Gamora and convinces so well as both.
Guys, I've paused. Am I right? Was that right?
I've also
Should I have paused?
If the scene's ended, I'm still. There we go. Right, the scene has now ended. So you should have paused just as the shot of the plane flying towards Wakanda. And so we are now paused. We are going to take our break, everybody. We've got. Do we want to say 10 minutes? 10 minutes is enough. 5 or 10?
5 minutes.
Yeah, I think 5's good. Come back at
5 minutes. Yeah, we don't need longer than 5 minutes. We're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to drop everybody off the feed so you don't have to see everybody undignifiedly leaving. So everybody a wave. We'll all be back. It's currently, by my clock, it's 10:09. So we'll be back at 10:15. We'll be back 5 minutes from now. Enjoy your intermission. Thank you, everyone who's watching. If you decide to take this as an opportunity to drop off, I don't blame you, but thanks for watching. This is really enjoyable so far. Hopefully you'll be back for the second, slightly less than half. And yeah. Here we all go. Hello, I'm back. I'm gonna bring everybody back one by one. Oh, they've noticed. I was gonna try and bring them all back without noticing. Okay, who should we have? Well, let's have James next. Hello, James.
Hey.
Hello, Caroline.
We're prepared.
Hello, Amon.
Hey.
There he is. This is proper Brady Bunch. This is. And hello, Joe.
Hey, I've only just spotted Amon's t-shirt.
Oh yeah, you missed when we were trying
Yeah,
out
the video
before we started.
quality is. Yeah. We've lost viewers. We've roughly halved in viewers during that intermission.
I mean,
Maybe that was
understandable.
just people closing their browser tab while they went away. But
you know what? The people that are still here with us, thank you guys, and I love all your comments. Thank you for sending them in. They're very fun
it's
to
really
read.
good fun.
We right. It's actually genuinely like
Good job, Terrence. We washed.
having the comments come in alongside this
Have
has
you
really
seen
made a difference.
MCU dates have been revised.
Oh wow, news! Look at that, actual news. The MCU Facebook. Where's that come from?
I don't know, just some guy on Twitter. I assume they're correct because they got a blue tick.
James.
Captain Marvel 2's got an official date according to this person.
James.
A fun behind-the-scenes fact is that for some reason James's video is upside down for me, so nothing he just held up made any sense to what I was looking at.
Oh, we're getting some of the
that
views back.
That
So
is
look,
accurate. Apparently.
People did just close the browser tab in order to take their break. So I'm pleased about that because I was like, if you've really taken that opportunity just to go. JB asks, what song are you washing your hands to?
I just counted 20. Is that boring? I don't have time to be singing the song.
I do the
Real boring.
the Picard intro to Star Trek.
I did do one of the the graphics with the lyrics on. I did one of those for the Red Dwarf Twitter feed because the Red Dwarf theme actually fits it pretty much perfectly.
I did the.
Here's a question about that schedule, James.
Does it say when Gambit is?
It is.
Gambit's officially dead. Gambit's officially gone.
All I
Gambit's
in the multiverse.
Along similar lines.
If you like Gambit, go and listen to my X-Men animated series podcast that I've been doing.
Yeah. James, these are all Patreon backers. They know about the X-Men series.
They can listen to them.
Most of them have backed it for that series.
All I know is 2022 is far too long to wait to return to Wakanda. It's just
I agree.
That's true. I mean, yeah, because we were just talking about how that came out before this. 2017? No, 2018.
Speaking of
Yeah, but still, that's
returning
4
to
years. That's a long time.
That's just give Coogler time to do what he wants to do. That's like the gaps between Batman and the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Rises.
I need to be on the set of that film. I need to be on the set of that film. Empire, are you listening? No, I'm joking.
No one from Empire's listening.
apart from Amon.
Well, yeah. Right, I think we've almost got everybody back because I'm looking at the viewer figure and we're close to what we were at before, so I think that's probably got most of us. Sorry, Terrence just left a comment saying, is someone listening to heavy metal in the background? Who's put their music on? No, somebody's neighbours maybe.
That might be coming through someone's wall, yeah.
Right. So presumably everyone is still paused where they were. I will do a 5-second countdown again and we'll all hit play and we should be watching a plane flying towards Wakanda.
Sounds good.
5,
My
4,
hometown.
3, 2, 1, play. Right. And we are basically now into... The film's pretty much non-stop from here now, isn't it? Basically.
This is correct.
Chris Evans leaning on things is just always good. You should do that more.
I can't disagree.
Yeah, they were so smart to set this whole third act here.
Yeah.
That was such a good gamble trust in Black Panther being good.
That's great, that as well.
They knew we'd kill it. They knew we'd kill it.
The Olympics. When you said you were going to open to the rest of the world. It's great.
Wakanda would win every single race, every field, event, everything. It would be wonderful. But yeah.
It's also interesting what Black Panther characters aren't here. They were like, okay, we'll get 2 of them, and that'll be like, we won't question where everyone else is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the absence of Nakia
Yeah.
needs to be
Right.
needs
Remember
to
the
be
Queen of Wakanda?
multiple. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, someone's mobile again.
That ain't me.
It might have been me, but I moved it. Aw, a little hug. Calling him Buck is cute too. Wow, Chris Evans is
trying to
so
leave the
good.
room without being on camera.
Shuri.
Here she is. Where is the Shuri and Peter spin-off?
Yeah.
That is what
dynamic?
I think in phase 4 they're really gonna work on that relationship. It's gonna be really good.
Young Avengers.
I just hope that they bring in Ironheart at some point to I want Ironheart to be the one to take over Tony's mantle. What I think they might do is they'll have the kid from Iron Man 3 take up Tony Stark's mantle, but I don't want that to happen.
No, there's no
Hey, how
no
did
way.
I do all for a reason? I'm just saying. Do not
It
be
was a
surprised.
lovely little cameo. They're not handing multi-million-dollar franchises.
It was a cameo
kid.
that I completely did not spot. I was like, "Who's that?
Yeah,
Is
same.
that like some Shield
They've got
agent
a
or
perfectly
something,
good
or is that
Iron Man
Loki?"
character. If anyone is taking over Iron Man, it's Don Cheadle,
Yeah.
like he
I'd
did
be
in the
into that.
comics.
Just don't touch it for years.
He's watching.
I kind of feel like I don't know how this translates to the comics, guys, but I feel like there's some characters that feel like mantles, like for there to be a new Captain America straight away would make sense, but Iron Man doesn't seem like literally. Tony Stark says, "I am Iron Man." He is Iron Man. Any kind of replacement would feel odd for a long time, I think.
Some other people have
definitely give it a bit.
I really liked when Norman Osborn was Iron Patriot for a while.
Get these men a shield.
Oh, I just watched the movie 21
Reese
Bridges.
has just arrived because we forgot to give him the link earlier. Where's the display button? No, I'm not going to risk it breaking. What's the timestamp?
1:35-ish.
I'm at 1:34.
Oh, I've got a screen on my thing. I'm. I'm
Terrence, you right.
1:34.50 now. So there we go.
That's good for me as well because my Disney Plus stream stalled. So
I think Abigail's right that they're really sort of positioning
while,
Spider-Man as the successor to Tony in a strange way.
Yeah. I sort of thought that in Far From Home, the arc was going to be like Peter realizes he's not the next Tony Stark, and then the film was Peter realizes he is the next Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, mic drop of a joke here.
Take a bow, Super Mal. I got the rhymes.
Have we missed it, or have we got one of the best lines coming up? Where's the handle?
Oh no, that's
coming up.
Yeah, I just feel like all the stuff in Wakanda is so good, and every time we cut to this, I'm just like not satisfied.
I do like the triumphant moment of him getting it, and I like the Groot thing. I like the fact that they're missing a handle. And Groot,
sure.
Puts that part of himself in it. But yeah, at this point, it's kind of unnecessary.
The bit with Iris,
but it also gives you one of the best lines of the MCU.
Which is what?
If you do this, you'll die. It's one of the best lines I can't remember right now. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's one of the best.
Yeah, somebody referenced that before. It'll kill you only if I die, or
thank you.
You'll die only if it kills you.
This is a good scene, damn it, and I will defend it like that.
No, I think that's it. No, I think this part is good, but I think the cutaway comes at the wrong time, as you said, because we've just been setting up that stuff in Wakanda, and we've wasted a cutaway to it earlier on that did nothing. And actually, that point when we needed that edit point at Titan, could we not have had this bit then? Because you just we're back at Wakanda now, and it's like you you just want this. This is
No,
just
listen,
what you want
we're
at the
making
point in
too
the
many
film.
apologies for it. It's like Amon, I love you. You are fucking crazy here. It's like you know, it's like you're watching Game of Thrones and it cuts to a scene with Bran, and you're like, just immediately you go, ah. And it's not like just because you can either be in Wakanda or you can be in Titan, or you can be watching Thor open a hole so he can do it. It's boring. It's like comparatively, it's boring.
You also need the scene where you do, so that when Thor comes into Wakanda, you have that journey, you know, that triumphant sort of moment of him finally getting Stormbreaker in your mind fresh, so that when he comes in, you can have like that impact. Like, oh,
but what?
I mean,
what if he'd been off getting Stormbreaker, where Peter Dinklage isn't there, and the stuff that's happening on screen is fun? I just think it's. I
have no defense. Which is a good thing. It's a good movie, but I have no.
Yeah, he goes off to have a swim in the middle of it.
I have no. I can see that's a bad thing, but I have no defense for the Peter Dinklage of it all. But everything else, there's stuff to like.
Hey, I know we said it already. How weird is it that this is Carrie Coon?
Yeah.
When they didn't cast name actors for any of the others. I remember when they announced Carrie Coon, and I was like, "Oh, right. I wonder who the others are."
I remember as well, and I was going like, "No, she's just."
But why did they cast Carrie Coon? It's meant.
Maybe
it's
she's like
meant.
friends with the producer or something.
What a waste of this! I can only imagine it's to like just make a Leftovers reference.
I should
I
say,
think
by
we
the way,
might also be overestimating like how famous Carrie Coon is to a general audience.
Yeah, probably.
I should say,
I can tell you, she's got a higher day rate than the others.
But like, I know you watched The Leftovers.
This was just Chadwick and the other Black Panther actors just doing this on a day. By the way, they just came from Black Panther and started doing the Yabambe and everything, and they were like, you know what? That's cool. That's going in the movie, and they were correct.
I can't remember if I read someone say this about Black Panther or this movie, but I think it applies to both, that they feel very inspired by the climate and see that now. Like with the force fields and things coming through the force fields and the cutaway to something in space. Like it really is similar to The Phantom Menace.
But a lot better.
Well, I don't know. I like The Phantom Menace, but...
Oh, good. Becky's got a gun, look.
Oh, no, Caroline, come on.
A regular gun.
Oh, fucking Bucky and his gun. Like, everyone is so cool, and then just old misery face with his gun.
Hey! Where's the Bucky hit coming from? You had that cool moment with Rocket in a few minutes.
What, Bucky? Amon, have you met me?
Where Bucky has a gun. And Rocket has a gun.
I just remember,
I wish they'd left him in life.
Bucky and Rocket have a cool moment in a few minutes.
James,
because Rocket's funny.
Told you're still quite quiet.
Yeah, you are coming through kind of quiet, James.
Okay. There's nothing I can do.
Just shout.
I love Black Panther and Cap's little race here.
Oh, it's so good. I distinctly remember seeing this film with a friend, and when that happened, we both just like made a little noise in the theater.
I did too.
Oh, Cap's little shield is rubbish. Normally, nothing Cap can do is wrong.
Here's a good suggestion.
Oh, cool.
Joe's not looking at the screen, so he can't see that comment.
Sorry. Oh. Do you know what? That might be also, the first MCU movie I'd miss.
You wouldn't miss an MCU movie, let's be real.
I don't think this would be a very good idea. I don't know what anyone else thinks.
That's what's called leading from the front, people.
Mm.
Who are the alien people and where did they come from? Who are what are the things that they're fighting?
It's the question you have about every Avengers / MCU movie ever.
Outriders. I think they're genetically engineered.
That joke from Endgame about the Chitauri, I wish that had stayed. I can see why it didn't, but I wish that had stayed in.
Yeah, I would love them to figure out a way in future team-up movies, because every MCU, every Avengers movie has ended with them fighting identical clone things. And I get why, because you've got lots of heroes and you need them to have a lot to do. But there must be a solution that isn't that next time. There just has to be.
Andy, why do you hate us?
Tim Pine.
Why do you hate us, Andy?
I'll do the Snyder Cut.
The cut joke about the Chitauri is they get somebody is talking to Rocket and they reference the Chitauri, and Rocket's like, "What, the Chitauri? They're the softest, they're the easiest thing to beat. All you've got to do is go to their planet and destroy this thing, and you completely wipe them out. They're like so easy."
We didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know
that. And then he starts laughing. This was really good. Check out the deleted scenes on Disney Plus now.
Apparently, Justice League is on Amazon Prime. No, the Amazon Prime is in Justice League. You've got me. Thank you.
Oh, Sab, you're being cancelled.
That happened a long time ago.
I would watch Justice League. I kind of like Justice League.
Caroline, no!
That would be the only way I would rewatch it.
Like, whatever, you know?
These things.
It's fine.
I would rewatch.
Oh, an even better suggestion.
Oh no.
Yeah, that might be a tougher sell.
Yeah,
Oh, here we are. Where's the handle?
Gosh.
Oh.
I distinctly remember watching Crank Force Stick in the screening, and it was just the worst. God, that's a bad film.
I hope Peter Dinklage gets. Clearly everybody wants to work with him after Game of Thrones and has not figured out how to do so successfully. But I hope he gets some good.
I just don't think this is his speed. Like, go back and do some more stuff, you know, like The Station Agent and proper acting, because he's a proper actor.
Oh,
I don't think we need him anchoring blockbusters.
Yeah, I agree.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest scene in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Wow.
I can't say I disagree. It's just
so awesome.
It's such a
But you like this better than the portal scene?
I do, and I'll explain why after we've watched it. But yeah, there will never come a day where this doesn't do something to me on a spiritual, emotional, physical, psychological level. It's just awesome. And
see, for me, I'm on that's Peggy trying to grab the peck.
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting to see this version of Thor for like almost a decade, because in the comics, Thor is this powerful all the time, whereas in the movies, he's been nerfed. So to finally see him come into his full godly might, and to finally see him be pissed off, and then to do this, just had me losing my freaking mind in the cinema. At this point, I was just like, almost jumping out my seat. It's just great.
I think I'm learning that you're a far bigger Thor fan than I fully realized.
It's good at this scene.
The film is
that Ruffalo moment. That Ruffalo moment undercuts it, though, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'll tell you why. Because he's the only person in that field who knows how powerful Thor has become. So of course,
it's just goofy.
He's that way.
But it's goofy, and the CG is bad, and his little stupid head popping out the top of that big armor.
I agree that the CG is bad, but I love that moment. And then just
and also because we know it should have been Hulk in there, not Banner.
Yeah, you're taking away from the Thor moment here. That's about Thor more. No. But yeah, that scene, it's just amazing. It's my favorite, and it's just, I think, objectively maybe because it's the culmination of so much, that the Endgame portal scene is probably the best scene in the MCU. But in terms of my personal favorite, Thor in Wakanda is just it's number one for me. I have friends who think that Thor doing what he does at the end of Ragnarok say that that's a better scene than the Thor in Wakanda. I don't know why they're still my friends, but that's something they say, which is just nuts to me. Nuts to me. I
kind of lost your audio there, but I feel like I got the excitement.
But unfortunately, say it again, Amon.
Amon killed the internet with his excitement.
Yeah.
No. Titan looks dull.
I like how it turns from I could snap my fingers to I have to snap my fingers.
It is weird actually, yeah, because there he's just sort of. It's not that the snap has to be the trigger. It's just Yeah, this is a good point. It's like Thor in Wakanda feels like it's right at the end. So we still have 45 minutes of this film, but they will feel like about 15 minutes or 10 even. It's just yes, Caroline.
Love those power hands.
Yeah.
This is the scene where Peter Quill ruins everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not. He doesn't ruin anything in this character is being badly written way.
Right.
He ruins everything in a completely understandable way. It's
exactly.
Fine. It's just
I think a lot of people on the internet miss that, unfortunately. But yeah,
surely not.
It's not the film being stupid. It's the film deliberately knowing that Peter is being stupid at this point. But also,
I thought the anger at it was sort of somewhat joking, right? Or kind of leaning into that.
It started off that it became something different as time went on. I think
Chris Pratt doesn't.
People were really annoyed.
Yeah. That's it. It's not badly written. It makes complete sense. It's that Chris Pratt doesn't sell it.
And I think there's two things at play. And again, I say this as the guy who's wearing the Star-Lord t-shirt. I still love those films, and I love Star-Lord in those films. Not only is, as we've talked about, Chris Pratt isn't really equipped to be in a dramatic hero role in a way that I think people thought he was after the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And Star-Lord as a character isn't equipped to be put in the role that he's put into. If you strip away the goofiness, which is brilliant, and it's like, again, I'm not one of these people who will retrospectively go, oh, actually, Star-Lord's not that good. Bollocks. He's great, especially in the first film, but still to an extent in the second film as well. I think he's great, and I think I enjoy that character so much. He's not really right for the role that he has to play in the second half of this film.
And I think again, as well,
and Chris Pratt himself as an actor struggles with it as well.
And I think as cool as Star-Lord is, when you've got him on this scene, when you've got him in this scene with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man on Titan, he's not winning that charisma battle. And when. Yeah, I want to see in this scene. I want to see Doctor Strange and I want to see Iron Man. I don't want to see Peter.
I think part of the problem is that this scene is just sort of like we as an audience know Thanos isn't going to die right here, so it sort of feels a little bit like a pointless scene. Do you know what I mean?
Again, right.
You're sort of waiting for what will ruin it.
They nearly win because of Mantis here, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Mantis is nearly the means by which they nearly beat Thanos.
I think what I do like about this scene is that this feels like the last moment in the film where things feel winnable for the heroes, because we're watching this now knowing that it's all going to end in dust. But when that was obviously something that everyone was thinking, oh, maybe if you knew the comics, maybe that's how it's gonna, maybe Thanos will win at the end of this movie. But I think this is the moment where you kind of go, oh shit, and it's only going to escalate from here, because from here it just feels like everyone's fighting a losing battle.
I think
whereas there's still hope in this moment.
Part of the problem is that they're just standing around having a conversation when they're everyone else is in the background actively struggling. Like, he shouldn't have been talking. He should have been helping to pull the glove off. Like, come on.
Again, it's understandable, though. He wants to know where his girlfriend is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but priorities.
I think they just spend too long.
I agree with you, Joe, but... You know.
Listen, I think Peter Quill is the kind of guy who would be like, no, I'm not self-isolating. I need to go and see my grandma in the care home. I get it.
And I agree that we didn't know that this was going to end with Thanos winning, but I think I had a sense that it was going to at least end with Thanos going to Wakanda. So that's why this scene feels like filler to me, because you feel like everybody's got it. Like, clearly they've set up Wakanda as the final place.
But I quite like the flow of this third act after Thor arrives, because Thor arrives in Wakanda and suddenly you're like, oh shit, right, okay, now. Yeah, and then you give Thanos this win, and I just think it's a nice little.
I'm enjoying the file Star-Lord.
Star-Lord would hide a zombie bite is a very accurate description.
It really is. Cool Bucky moment.
Yeah,
come on, Joe, admit it.
Yeah, Bucky and Rocket, like that scene was there for my mum. My mum's two favourite characters in the MCU. That scene.
Also bizarre to think of Bradley Cooper just in a studio recording all of that like dialogue, you know, just by himself.
So good in these movies.
I mean,
really, really good.
I feel like
he's great.
I feel like we always say Bradley Cooper doesn't get his due, and we've said it enough times that I think we have adequately given Bradley Cooper his due. But he is fantastic, and you know,
this is such a
this is funny.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and that's like it's so.
It's like four punchlines in one exchange.
So little to do in this film, and he gets to have like the best arrival, maybe apart from the Thor one. And then he gets one of the best jokes. It's just, you know, and there's no fuss. Steve doesn't care that other people get to do more than him in this film because he's Steve, and he gets the moments that he has, and he's absolutely perfect in every single moment that he gets.
Wakanda's force fields really should extend underground,
guys.
What are you saying, Amon? Wakanda's force fields really should extend underground.
Yeah,
because like I could have dug a little hole and got under.
It should be spherical. There is a.
We admit it's a design flaw, but Shuri's looking into it. Okay, Shuri's got it.
There's a bit in a comic that you may remember me mentioning at times on the podcast, Starman, where the villain, the plot towards the end of the series involves creating a bubble around a city, and part of it is that he carefully explains that yes, the bubble is spherical and it does extend underground, so nobody can dig in underneath either.
I better hope the power station's inside as well then.
It is the I built a failsafe into the portal at the top of Stark Tower of this movie.
I've got that little wine left now. Will Wakanda replace Bruce's withered limb with a metal arm in Phase 4? I think it will probably get forgotten about. Well, it's the Hulk. It'll grow, won't it? It'll
I don't
heal.
think we'll see the Hulk ever again.
What?
Really?
You guys, it's time for the best scene. I love this scene.
We'll see him in She-Hulk.
Maybe.
No, we'll see Ruffalo.
No.
Okay, none of you all just missed Black Widow's one of her top 5 best moments. Love that little line.
She's not alone. See, she's not alone that they team up. In this film, it makes sense the ladies team up. In Endgame, it does not.
I was just saying,
this is the good version of what they were trying to do.
Better than the moment in Endgame. Yeah.
She's not alone. It's such a good delivery too.
I was still expecting Hulk to turn up in this film by this point.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird.
So were the
weird arc.
The first trailer for this film had that shot of all of them rushing into battle, and Hulk was there.
They cheated.
Fake, though, wasn't it? That was fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fake, but I think the the intention was for Hulk to be inside the Hulk. That at one point Hulk would burst out of the Hulkbuster armor.
It is weird to have that. Like, you know, surely the whole point of putting Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster armor is so that Hulk can fit inside that armor. But actually, no, it doesn't need to fit.
No, it's not. The Hulkbuster armor is for use for Tony to combat the Hulk, not for Hulk to be.
I mean, is it arguable? And James is the one who can really speak to this the most, as the big Hulk fanboy, that we've only really had. I mean, how many films has Hulk appeared in? He's been Incredible Hulk, 4 Avengers. Oh no, he is great in Ragnarok. I was going to say that we've only had like 1 film that's really done right by Hulk, but I would say 2. I think Avengers and Ragnarok,
and Iron Man 3
Hulk films.
But
otherwise,
definitely Iron Man 3.
To be fair, Endgame Hulk is a really good version of the Hulk.
I think he's great in Age of Ultron. I think he's one of the better parts of Age of Ultron.
Okay, we've had several.
I'm liking the Age of Ultron love. Keep following along with the Age of Ultron love. This is good.
The end of Age of Ultron, where he's sat in a plane, is very good. Very good Hulk stuff. Because he's sulking.
James, sit closer to your microphone if you can't set it up.
This is. Oh no, but
don't then.
I missed Okoye's. I missed Okoye's. Why was she up there all this time? Line,
yeah,
which is a great line.
Yeah,
great line.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna log out and back on, okay?
Okay, James is gonna drop off to see if he can improve his volume, and then I won't let him back in.
No, we can all gossip about it while he's gone. You guys, this is going to be a depressing movie to end on.
Yes,
do you know who's cool, you guys?
Why, and I'm saying this while he's not on the feed, but I wanted to do Endgame so that we could watch something that built and built and built to a happy, upbeat ending, which I feel like we need at this time. And James was like, Infinity War is more fun. We should watch Infinity War because it's more fun. I do take the point that, you know, it was good to do it first.
I'm going to cut you off because Doctor Strange versus Thanos, we have to because it's awesome. It's like the second best fight in the time movie.
Yeah, this is good.
The bolts of power pop. Mirror dimension.
Is this any better?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole
Are you still upside down for Caroline?
You are.
Of course.
The images.
Anyway,
of
I think the point is that doing this, we have to do Endgame because we can't leave this on this note.
Yeah.
So.
Really can't.
The happy ending.
Someone has commented, how do you think the Avengers are dealing with quarantine? I think a dude on TikTok has already got this one covered if you haven't seen it already. And it's one of those where you see people sharing something and you think, oh, it's not going to be that good, and then you watch it and it's like, to be fair, his Thor impression in particular is, yeah. So that's how the Avengers are coping with quarantine.
Really good. I really thought watching this that Iron Man was going to die first time.
Yeah.
No, in this movie?
Yeah, I think given the scene they do at the start with him and Pepper, I think it was entirely feasible that this could have ended with a dead Tony.
Yeah, because it felt like it could have been a bit like Han Solo in Force Awakens, that like this is the Tony movie and the next one's the Cap movie. I felt he was definitely at risk.
Huh. I thought everyone that died in this.
Middlecroft, yes!
Incorrect.
Yes!
Bad take.
Down for the people in the back.
No.
Yes!
Age of Ultron is a movie with loads of interesting stuff going on in it that just doesn't really flow properly as a movie.
Yeah, there's good stuff in Ultron for sure.
This on the Avengers in quarantine. Anyway, sorry, Caroline, you were saying something before I threw.
I just thought everyone that died in this movie was going to come back, even like Loki and Vision. I thought the MCU was going to kill no one, so I was sort of on the opposite track.
Well, it's also that weird thing where when this film does the snap, you kind of assume that everyone who gets snapped is, especially because of some of the people who are among them. You're like, okay, well, if they've been snapped, they're safe because they're not at risk of getting killed in a normal way in Endgame. So
this is my major issue with Infinity War, because as much as to an extent I admire the ballsiness of the snap, when Black Panther's died, I'm not thinking, oh crap, Black Panther's dead. I'm like, hold on, they're not. Black Panther's gonna come back, and when Spider-Man's died, I'm like, you already at this point, Spider-Man Far From Home or Homecoming, whatever, had already been announced. So I just implicitly know, and that's on. That's one of the reasons I prefer Endgame to Infinity War, because in Endgame, when that final battle starts, I'm like, okay, this is for keeps. This is whatever happens. It's like when you're playing a video game and you know that you got extra goes and you can relax a little bit. If you don't have that, you know it's for keeps, and your pals are sweaty.
I think
you know all that. So that's why I prefer Endgame to Infinity War.
I think you're viewing it as like a movie critic in that regard. I think most.
I am a movie critic, James.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, like we all are to an extent, right? And we think about this stuff more than the general audience will, because they're not thinking about production schedules. They're thinking about this story generally. Certainly, the kids who were weeping at the end of this film were not thinking like, "Oh, but there's another one next year, right?" That's who it matters for. Those are the people who it matters for.
I don't know about that, because like Marvel are like the main beneficiaries typically when it comes to thinking about what movies are coming ahead. Marvel have made a whole franchise of doing that well and building anticipation early in advance. So it's kind of like you live by the sword, you die by the sword type situation.
Yeah, fair point.
James, we're still getting this. You're still too quiet.
There's nothing I can do. Short of
There is.
getting right up in the...
You can speak louder.
I'm practically shouting.
We're in the end game now.
Wow.
Yay, that's the name of the next movie.
Cue the Russos for months saying that the title's not Endgame, the title's not Endgame, the title's not Endgame.
It should have been Avengers Forever. It's the fourth film. It should have been Avengers Forever. I like Endgame as a title, but I was so geared for it being Avengers Forever. It would have worked perfectly. But,
going one-man army.
I like that line because anytime I'm writing a review of an end of a TV season, I can just say, we're in the end game now. I feel like I've used that so many times.
Your This Is Us reviews, by the way, Caroline, are just fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I love that show. Let's do that next. Let's just live watch
It's so literally,
This Is Us.
I did not know I was such an emotional person until I started watching that show. It really hits me in the feels almost every episode. It's really, really good.
It's a good show. I agree.
We keep losing Joe, by the way. I assume he's having connection issues or something. But, hopefully he'll be back.
By the way, the music that plays over this scene is the best part of the score. And what I like, the MCU scores have come in for a lot of flack over the years, but I've always been a defender of them in terms of the music itself. What the MCU has had a problem with in earlier films, especially, is in mixing the score with the rest of the film. In a sequence like this, the music is carrying everything, and because of that, it's more weighty, it's more memorable.
Yeah.
And it just works. And I've gotten much better at mixing the music in with the rest of the movie in the later Phase 3 films. In the earlier films, it was an issue. But I've always been a big fan of MCU scores. There's always good stuff in every single one of them, I think. So, and this one, I believe the track is called "I Feel You." I'm gonna double check, but it's a fantastic track. Alan Silvestri killed it.
Amon likes the music, guys. This is not saying this is Amon's whole shtick, but quick comment in from because Abby says about wonder how long they spent wondering if they could get the words Infinity War into dialogue. I mean, the thing I've always thought about the title of this film, it's not really a war, is it?
Yeah.
It's a fight. It's Infinity Fight.
That's what I had to second into it. Avengers Infinity Fight.
That's because it's the plot of Infinity Gauntlet.
Any suggestions on an upbeat thing to watch after this? Endgame!
Riverdale.
Yeah.
Some, I mean, it'll make you cry, but you know, some of
Tangled.
Endgame.
The movie Tangled.
Moana.
I've had such a desire to watch Tangled, and no one in my family will watch it with me.
My daughter will watch it with you.
Okay, great.
Her favorite
Let's set up a
princess.
Skype.
And it's good. Tangled's great.
I love Tangled.
Infinity Skirmish. There we go. That's what it is. Infinity Skirmish. Howard the Duck. You could watch Howard the Duck after this. Oh, I clicked the wrong comment. The comments all moved. There we go. Howard the Duck.
In terms of
JB's daughter of Tangled. Yeah, because it's great. Alan Menken songs as well.
It's Eddie Murphy's birthday today, and Coming to America is the greatest comedy of all time. Watch that.
Coming to America is not even the best 1980s Eddie Murphy comedy that's also got Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy in it.
Excuse me, Seb. Can you not blaspheme in my presence, please? It's just,
Bye.
you know what I'm saying? What kind of ridiculous comedy is that?
I also like that this is what we're talking about in the most dramatic part of this film.
I know Infinity War is good, but have you seen Coming to America?
Guys, I don't know what you're talking about, but Captain America was just literally holding back Thanos. It was great, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Also, I love Scarlet
we
Witch.
managed to just miss like the best Captain America
was
moment.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
No, he was coming to Wakanda.
Sorry, I'm on.
I was gonna say when I saw that Captain America moment in the trailer, I thought that he might die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I think by this point in the movie, when you've seen as little of him as you had, you knew he wasn't.
You knew that they weren't going to kill him. Then.
Kill him off here.
This is so good.
Eddie Murphy as maybe Eddie Murphy as Uncle Ben.
Hey, I'd watch it. I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
In the MCU, that's what they
I've been thinking about who Denzel should play, and I think it's trying to be Doom or Magneto. Doom or Magneto.
Whoa, I just like really had a moment when you said that. Wow. Yeah, please.
No, Terrence, no. Why
we wouldn't slag off Batman v
No,
okay, wait. I sort of
I
half like Justice League. I actually like really like Batman.
If we did Batman, it would be like the reverse of this, where actually we spend more time kind of picking at the niggly bits because we know it's basically amazing. With Batman v Superman, because we know it's basically terrible, I would be going, oh, actually, I quite like that bit. Oh, actually, I quite like that bit.
And there's a lot of good bits in there, I think.
There are, yeah. Well, we've had that conversation.
That bit with Vision, right? They set that thing up as being so delicate, and then he just fucking smashes it out his head. It's so brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, and
genuinely, it is actually, I mean, it's a brief shot, but it's actually really shocking, that sudden moment of, there's all the wires and stuff inside Vision's head. That's really, I mean, there's so much else going on in the film at the time. I think you don't really get the chance to fully absorb what's happening to Vision there. But that's horrible.
They do such a good job in this final 5-10 minutes of just going, oh, here's a little moment where you might think that our heroes are going to win again. So they do it with the destruction of the Infinity Stone. They do it.
I knew, right?
Yeah.
I knew the snap was coming. But even then, I
was you don't know exactly what's going to happen here. Yeah.
But again, this is another moment like the Star-Lord on Titan moment, in that the characters should be, going for the head. It should be trying to end it, but you understand why Thor is doing what he's doing.
Why he's doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good writing. Even though frustrating as a fan wanting the heroes to win, you get why it's really good.
But that's exactly, I think that kind of proves the point of the Star-Lord scene. No one came out of this going, oh, Thor should have gone for the head, because Hemsworth sells the hell out of this.
Yeah. And also, I think it's really interesting that obviously when Thor doesn't go for the head here, it's the wrong thing to do. When he does go for the head later, it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Chris sells it, but Chris didn't.
Good one, Jack. Good one.
Also, this is a question about where has Thor been up to that point? While they've been having that fight, what has Thor been doing?
we've seen what Thor's been doing. They had that 5-second shot of Thor going one-man army, taking out all the Outriders in their ships. That's what he's been doing. They did show that.
He can't be everywhere.
Give my boys Thor some love.
I like bringing back little Gamora.
I've realised
here.
that you're getting
I think
covered
that's
up by our logo because you're now
This
in that
line's
corner
great.
and your head's over that side. I'm gonna remove you and Joe, and then I'm gonna put Joe back, and then you there, and there we go. Oh no, I put James up there. It was just you were getting completely covered up by our branding there, and that was no good.
The rolling kills the scene.
There we go.
Also, that little Gamora actress really is good.
She's really
She's
good.
giving a real performance.
Yeah.
She's not just like standing
And
there.
didn't they were gonna do that with Tony, right?
Right, and his
in
like
Endgame and
daughter.
decided
Yeah,
not
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get why they decided that though.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't mind if we didn't get that scene, but I was one of my questions after Endgame, like why didn't Tony get that? Why didn't Hulk get that?
Yeah.
Don't see Hulk get that scene in. And Hulk didn't even get a deleted scene showing
Favorite
that.
moment in the
This is
entire
very
MCU.
unsettling.
Bucky disappears.
Man, you guys and Bucky, harsh.
I still think he should have left his arm behind. then Rocket could have got that arm.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's unsettling because you don't really know what's, or at least for me, I like had no idea what was happening. Like it takes you a little bit to figure out what's happening. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't understand why Bucky disappeared at first. I didn't
And
connect
for me-
it to the snap for a little bit.
And then it becomes a mad dash to be like, so who's gone? Who's
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Yeah, you've got to keep up with it all. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they've gone, but
It's a
they're
lot
still
to
there.
take
And
in.
they've gone, and
That one
and
especially,
there's
her
someone you
face
don't
right there
realise
is
that
just
they're going
like
straight away.
Oh, and
Yeah.
then you so expect it to be
Okoye.
Okoye who
Yeah.
disappeared, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But then I remember processing in the moment as well, like who was disappearing and who wasn't, and then suddenly
This one, when you
getting
think about
worried
it,
all the people who were still around.
because Rocket's already lost Groot once.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's actually a rough one because he's already had Groot die in front of him, and it's happened again.
Oh, Sam.
This is
Yeah.
this is really well executed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very upsetting.
I get them props for the audacity and everything else, but again, I just couldn't fully emotionally connect to what was happening because in my mind, as I'm watching, I'm like, but he's going to be in the next movie. He's going to be in the next movie. So I couldn't fully,
I'm with you. Like when this ended, I it's unsettling, but I was not like, oh my god, they're gone forever.
But it's not. I don't think that.
Because
I don't
drama.
really. I never really subscribe to that kind of approach to movie watching because it's like we all know that, your heroes are never going to die, your James Bonds are never going to die.
Yeah.
It's more about like what does that mean in the moment for the other characters, and that's why I think this scene works so well, and why it works so well crescendoing to this moment we're about to get to with Peter and Tony, because it is all it's
Oof.
and all of the major characters that we lose, it's people who are closest to them that see it happen.
I think this was a Tom Holland improv too.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
yeah.
Oh,
Good
oh
connect.
god, he's just so little. My little son.
I
This
think
is-
I said this at the time that I felt that it was lessened by the knowledge that because he was snapped, he'd definitely be back, and we knew he had a film. Even so, as a moment, you don't want anything to take away
No. And
from
he's
that
so
moment and that
scared.
performance there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's why I like an Endgame.
and that-
when he comes back, the first thing he says is, "I lost the kid."
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was only the first of 2 Spider-Man deaths in 2018, which is insane.
Wow, true.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. After we've done Endgame, my vote might be for Spider-Verse.
Yes! Oh, yes! Yeah! Can we do that before Endgame? I freaking love that movie. Oh, yes, we're doing that. Great shout. Yes.
Well, I've paid for a month of StreamYard now, so we've got to get a few in to get our money's worth out of that.
By the way,
for
this
heavens.
shot of this shot of Thanos sitting down, it's replicated in Endgame, but instead of sort of smiling on the grateful universe, he's fading into dust. It's a nice sort of reversal.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, his house looks nice. I would live there. This is a good place to like self-isolate here on this planet.
You build in Minecraft. You know when you finally get when you've got enough resources to build your perfect little house in Minecraft. Yeah.
I want the MTV Cribs episode of Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. We've got some agreement for Spider-Verse. I mean, I think we're definitely going to do Endgame after this, obviously. But I think we'll open it up to discussion on the Patreon to see what we do next. But I think Spider-Verse would be We've got some credits. We'll take the opportunity to carry on talking while the credits roll because obviously we've got moments to come here.
Captain Marvel.
But there we go. We did it. 2.5 hours later, we just sat and watched almost the entirety of Infinity War.
What do we think?
It's all right, isn't it? It's
okay. It's still not my favorite.
I think it might do okay.
This has the That's what I look for. It's the funniest.
I do think. I mean, I'm going to take. If we do Endgame, I'm going to take the opportunity to try and finally decide which I prefer out of the two, but I do kind of feel like it's still maybe Endgame. I mean, Infinity War is amazing, but it is the first half. But I think it's easy to is it easy to be blasé about what this did because like how many times have we all watched this now? How much, as I said before about it's part of the furniture. We're so familiar with it and we're so familiar with its big beats and its moments. And does that mean that actually we take it for granted? Because
so there are things
no, it's not as good.
Right? Endgame overcomplicates itself. Endgame overcomplicates itself by having like different versions of established characters and loads of time travel and like shaky internal logic. This is just like a proper roller coaster of a movie where you know where it's going. And you just sit there, like, smiling at everything along the way.
I'm just reading some of these comments. It's fine. I'm
rattling through. We've had a bunch of closing comments, and we will end this, but I think we'll let it get to the end of the credits. You can all leave if you want. Those of you who are still.
Oh no, we need to get.
We'll go until the credits. Yeah.
For me,
it's
yeah, really, guys. Thank you so much. For me, not only is the fact that the fact that I previously talked about, in that I felt more emotionally invested in the finale of Endgame as opposed to Infinity War, but I really liked the focus on the original Avengers plus a few other characters, and that meant that we got more of the quieter moments, which this film was missing because it was overpacked. So that's for me why I just put Endgame a little bit over Infinity War in terms of the best Avengers movie.
It is. It's kind of like Infinity War is. Here's us bringing together absolutely everything that we've built up and putting it all into one film. And then yeah, you're right. It's like okay, you have got the others. You've got like Ant-Man and stuff like that. But like Endgame is very much okay. Now here's the original guys dealing with the problem that was created by that, and I think that's such a good payoff to everything.
Absolutely.
It's like Endgame is the true sequel to the first Avengers film, notwithstanding the fact that you love Age of Ultron. But it's like,
I just think that Infinity War is such an empty calories enjoyment kind of movie. Like it is. It's it's like eating a big bag of sweets that you're like, oh my god, they're really tasty, but I'm not full afterwards.
Yeah, I've literally been eating an Easter egg.
I want to fill up on Endgame. That's what I want to fill up on. Like, yeah.
And I still think the first Avengers is the best of them all.
Yes, and that is the correct opinion, Caroline. You are right.
Thank you.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion. No,
I'm just going to keep putting comments on the screen, by the way,
out.
because they're ego.
I really think that first Avengers is just like, I don't know. I would watch the Battle of New York.
Again,
like the Battle of New York and Helm's Deep. I would just alternate those every day. and be so
Writing on
satisfied.
Avengers, given everything it had to do, is just doesn't put a foot wrong.
I think part of it is, again, that thing of do we take it for granted? It's really easy to take that first film for granted, but
Absolutely.
I can still think back to the experience of seeing that for the first time with everything that was going into it and not knowing if it was going to pull it off, and knowing fairly early on that they were pulling it off.
Or like me, seeing it as your first ever MCU film. There you go, and I followed it just fine. So
guys,
it works for
to be fair, you had only missed like
5 important films.
No, I was going to say like two really good ones and one pretty good one before it.
Yeah. No, I still
think it's weird going back that at the time we thought that the Captain America, the first Avenger, and Thor were roughly on the same level. They're not. They're really not. But I remember thinking that at the time.
I don't know who thought that.
I try not to take these films for granted now, because I feel on the record saying that for me going to all the film screenings and what have you, and I said this before, there's nothing quite like the feeling before, during, and after a big screening of a film like an Avengers Infinity War, like an Avengers Endgame, like a Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, and having all of those films quite in close succession to each other. We're not going to experience something like that for a while now. There's not going to be a film that's going to get to that level, and to build something to the stage where you're at that level of hype, it's really, really special. And for me, that's why Infinity War, Endgame, those are two of, if not the two, best ever experiences I've had at a cinema. It's just incredible. When everyone is invested like that and reacting to the same thing at the same time in the same way, there's nothing quite like it. And that's why cinema is so missed right now, because to have a space like that where people can do that, it's rare. And that's why cinema. I mean, I love all the streaming. I love TV. I love Netflix and what have you. But that's why cinema will be unparalleled for me for life. And
it's like I'd make the comparison to the other thing that we are very noticeably missing at the moment, which is live sport, and that kind of does the, it does the.
See, Black Spider. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Black Widow, but there are levels to this, and you can't tell me Eternals is on the level of a Black Panther, of an Infinity War, of an Endgame. It's
what we were talking about going into last year, that you were going to have effectively the MCU as we knew it was going to culminate in Endgame, Star Wars was ending, and Game of Thrones was ending. The kind of the three dominant pop culture things of the decade. And I don't know beyond.
Culture, right?
Yeah, there will, but I wonder. I don't know what's. I don't know what's on the immediate horizon that has that level.
I'm not sure I'm going to be this level of excited again until Black Panther 2. That's not until 2022.
Especially because they cancelled the third Tron film.
I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I've got Bill and Ted 3 coming this year, so that's my. Unless that gets pushed back, that's my.
And Amon, I hate to tell you, I think you probably can expect Black Panther in 2023 now.
Joe, why would you say that to me? Why would you do that, man? Don't say that.
Still got to go and
I
shoot
will
the
be
thing.
41 years old in 2023.
It'd be a great way to celebrate your birthday.
It really would. Drinks on me, James. Drinks on me.
Hey guys, remember the Dark Universe?
I never saw The Mummy, or that version of The Mummy.
You're not missing anything whatsoever.
Still going on.
We watch Rachel Weisz's
a lot
version.
of people worked on this film.
Do you guys usually obviously for these movies you stay for credits, but in general, do you stay for credits for non?
If I've enjoyed a film, I think it's worth it.
I always check if there's a
obviously. Well, there's the thing to check for a stinger. I mean, with Marvel, obviously there always is a stinger. Right. With Marvel, you get my favorite thing about the credits is always the special thanks. It's which comics creators have been thanked in it, especially because with some of these, we actually know some of them as well. So
I do
it's
often,
nice to
I
see.
often stay.
But I think if you appreciate a film, I think it's good to sit there through all this. You won't take them all in, but you might just randomly notice the name of somebody who worked on some random little element who you otherwise wouldn't have heard of. And I just think if you've appreciated a film, it's quite nice to suddenly notice a name.
I used
to
decompress and
Yeah,
talk about
same.
the film. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So I don't like to talk during the credits. I literally save that until the moment we get out of the door and say, "So what
Wow.
do you think?"
Yeah.
That's good discipline, Joe.
I used to intern at BAFTA, and at BAFTA screenings for their members. Obviously, their members are people who work in the industry, and if anyone ever stood up during the credits to leave, then they literally got like chastised.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, I forgot. Okay, I forgot what this scene we were about to watch was.
Oh.
This is so
It's
good.
a good scene.
It's so good.
It's the helicopter.
It's the helicopter.
Isn't it? The helicopter, yeah.
Because it's
So leftovers.
It's the moment that shows you the human impact of what happened. Everything
The
we've seen
human
up to this
impact in
point
an Avengers
has been
We
Bold,
haven't
very-
seen
well,
that
yeah,
since the
exactly.
first Avengers movie.
We're not used to getting that.
Yeah, the first Avengers
It's
does
the thing
it.
I've talked about it. Yeah.
Avengers does
I've talked about it in
Rest
comics,
of
but it's my big problem with Jonathan Hickman comics is that they're all you have these massive events, and it's about how does it affect the heroes. This is a brief moment of, oh shit, that's happening to normal people in this world, and it's really like, yeah.
No, do you know what? I think Whedon
It's
goes out of
weird
his way
how
to do it in the first
we've
two
had
movies.
bigger destruction
Whedon
and death
does, yeah. Whedon
throughout this
definitely
film, and a shot of a single helicopter crashing into a building is more shocking to me than any of the big scale stuff we've had in the film previously.
And that guy just randomly disappearing behind him, like
Yeah.
it's
again, yeah, it's like it's not just important characters who you've heard of that this happens to.
Do you know what? This is the first scene in this movie that I thought it's reminded me a little bit of our like current situation, that like, that kind of just that powerlessness of like not knowing who it's going to affect and knowing you can't really do anything to stop it.
And then, hey, it's Jamie McKelvey. They've signaled for Jamie McKelvey to come and save the day.
It literally was perfect introduction to Captain Marvel, and she doesn't have 1 second of screen time. That's really well done. It's really well done.
Right.
Thanos will return as a nice touch.
Do you think this is Ben Mendelsohn?
We're not going to spend ages.
I don't think it
We've
is,
got
but
the
that's a
debate
great.
over whether
That's a
it's
great
Ben
question.
Mendelsohn. Helicopter's very wide, the last man. Yes. We can debate that at a later point, possibly when we get on to Endgame, because we've been on here for. We're not going to quite make it to 3 hours because it's 2:47, and I'm not going to keep you talking for 13 more minutes. Firstly, does anyone have any final points about the film they want to say, or should we save it for when we inevitably come back?
Yeah,
as people
I think we can save it.
The reason I love Wakanda is no, I'm joking.
But thank you, like, really, for everyone who's watched this. Like, I have been keeping a little eye on the number in the corner, and it has stayed. Like, we've basically kept most of the people who started watching, and having the comments there from you guys has really been really enjoyable interacting with everyone as this has gone along. I really hope that you'll all come back for the next one. I think we'll definitely do another one. Whether it'll be next week, we'll do one soon, because that was really good fun. Hopefully we can get all of us back. We do have one more slot on StreamYard if we can get another guest in as well. But if we can get like everybody back next week to commit to it, that and thanks to Caroline and Joe and Amon who all count as guests. So although really this is the the most regular cinematic universe people. So,
that is true.
We can all go and get some sleep now, except for Caroline. Where it's probably
I know it's the middle of the day here, so I'm really dinner, I guess.
I'm about to take over baby duty, so I won't be getting any sleep.
Okay, enjoy that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. That's what I was going to do some admin bump, but it's not necessary. So we'll just end it now. But thanks everyone. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks to everyone who's commented saying that they enjoyed it. Yeah. See you next week probably. Goodbye.
Oh, our slowed. Now we're getting snapped. This is very ominous.